21st meeting of the school board is now in session. Welcome, everyone. Today's moment of silence will be done by Reverend Gina. Reverend Gina. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Brian Adams. Our students from OCSA will be performing the national anthem. The mission statement will be read by Gary Whedon, and interpretation services will be done by Dr. Lestenia Peñalosa. You can all stand for a moment of silence or a prayer.
Reverend Gina was supposed to lead tonight. She's stuck in traffic, so I'm stepping in for her. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, we come tonight to ask you for your direction, for your wisdom, Father, for the peace that surpasses all understanding in everything that is going to take place tonight. From performing arts to contracts to everything that is on the agenda, Lord, we need your guidance and your direction, because your word says, seek your will in all that we do, and you will show us which path to take. We need your guidance, Lord. We need your divine intervention. I pray that everything will flow under your anointing tonight, and that your spirit will be here, Lord, that you be glorified. I bless each and every one of the people that are here, the students, the teachers, Father, the community, Lord, the children, Father God, everyone that is involved in Osceola County School District. We need you. We call upon your name. Oh, Father God, we ask you to intervene, that you give us that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to pursue you in all that we do. And I ask you this in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Adams.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Inspiring all learners to reach their highest potential as responsible, productive citizens.
Good evening, welcome. My name is Dr. Lestenia Peñalosa, and I'm here to provide translation services. Buenas noches, mi nombre es la doctora Lestenia Peñalosa y estoy aquí para proveer.
Thank you, Dr. Peñalosa. Board members, I'd like to go ahead and give all an opportunity to express your positive comments I will start with Board Member Cahill.
Thank you. I would first like to say congratulations to all the nominees, finalists, and the winners from our annual education awards that happened right before spring break. So a big congratulations to Tiffany Perry from Eastwick Elementary School and Janae Muchmore from our Community Relations Department. A special thanks to Community Relations as well, because they do a great job putting a lot of time and effort into preparing that event, leading up to it and the day of, to make it a very special time and recognition of our great staff. I also want to share a few things that I missed after the fair that took place last month in Osceola. Gateway High had 184 pieces of artwork across several different mediums, winning lots of different recognition, and one student won Best of Show for her freestanding sculpture, Amber Rodriguez. So I just wanted to give a shout out because I had missed that prior to last meeting.
Vice Chair.
Okay, I'll make it short because I do have a presentation coming next, but I just want to echo congratulations to all of the recipients and nominees. It's very honoring to get nominated by your peers for either Sports Staff of the Year or Educator of the Year, Teacher of the Year. Thank you to the Community Relations team for all of your work. Again, I echo that, not just with that event, but our superintendent search, having all types of community members, having our board meeting tonight, all of you in the room. I love seeing a full boardroom. It's amazing to have our community support behind our schools, and our community relations team does a lot with that. So thank you, Dana and team. Also, I wanted to just say that I appreciate the purchasing team. I'm giving a special shout out today to Cheryl Hood and Ed Parker. They gave me about 2 hours of time to sit down and go through the purchasing processes and what those look like based off of our board policies. We have a lot of business to take care of, and there's a lot behind the scenes that happens. Knowing I'm still just 4 months into this role, I still have a lot to learn, and so I appreciate the team answering all of my difficult questions that I have. Lastly, I'd like to give a thank you out to a lot of different ESC team members that had a work session with Dr. Pace. Was invited to come, or I was able to come to that. I know that there's a lot of issues that we need to be working through, and I appreciate those that are in the audience today. Administrators, staff members, really giving that true, honest feedback that helps us make these decisions up here. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Did you want to do your presentation?
No, we can go ahead. I'll do it.
Sure, no problem. Board Member Arguello.
Yeah, I'd like to thank, they're going to go deeper into this later on, but the SRO and everyone down who basically jumped into action. This is exactly what people, first responders, are trained to do, and this is why they're so valuable. What you've done is amazing. You'll hear the details during the presentation, but I wanted to do that. Ms. Booth kind of beat me to the punch on doing a presentation. I'm going to do the same thing, so good for you, because it's just an amazing story. I wanted to say congratulations to all the people who were nominated and the 2 winners of our Employee and Teacher of the Year. I know many of you. I'd love to take you each out to lunch. I said it jokingly, and then some people started calling me. And so there's like 120 of you, but I'd love to take the time. Go ahead, call me out on it. I'd love to take you to lunch and talk about your experiences and why you're so good at what you do. I'd like to thank the teachers and students who came and spoke to me. I took some office hours at Liberty High School who came and spoke to me. From the moment I got there in the morning, there were people lined up waiting to talk to me until I left. I left after school, got out, and there were still people talking to me about their experiences and things that were important to them. I can't tell you how much I appreciate those conversations, so thank you for taking the time out of your day to have them. And lastly, I'd like to, not least for sure, I'd like to thank the Eagle Construction students at Point Siena High School. They had a competition today of a project. They had a whole bunch of community partners out there who were helping them make these. It's basically a frame, like a 4x4 frame and some offshoots. It's not super complicated, but if these kids, I've never seen students, at least over the past 2 years, I have not seen a student spend so much hard work and dedication and focus into doing one thing without taking a moment to look at their phone or anything else for so long, from first thing in the morning until 1:30 in the afternoon. I had to leave to come here, but what a tremendous job they did. They were working so hard. They were so into it. Mr. Inwood, you are an amazing professional. How you inspire these kids is just nothing short of just incredible. And the students in that class, man, I mean, I only spent I spent time like that playing video games, but never building something with my hands. And that was amazing to watch. It was great. You guys are great. And they were served lunch by the culinary program at Poinciana High School, where they baked the bread in the morning. They marinated the meat, the chicken, yesterday. What an effort by two programs that are completely separate but right next to one each other in the school. You guys did an amazing job. They served us. They made, I mean, if every classroom, and you should see their classrooms of these two people too. I would encourage anyone that has the opportunity to go to Poinciana, look at their culinary program, look at their construction program. It is nothing short of amazing. Their classrooms, the way that these students behave, it's just incredible. So Mr. Schwartz, wherever you're out there, I'm sure you have better things to do to watch this meeting, but you are doing good things over there. And that high school, I was in shock. The last time I was there, I was also in shock. So great job to both of those teams. It's Juan Alamo, Chef Juan Alamo is the guy who oversees the culinary program. So thank you guys so much for being truly awesome.
Board Member Melendez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Welcome back from spring break. I know it's always tough, you get back, you're like, I gotta get back in the swing of things, but, the education of our students is paramount. Without a quality education for our students, we really don't tick. And that's why it was such an honor to go to the Education Awards ceremony, as Ms. Calhoun had mentioned, and congratulations to our award winners. And again, Officer Burrows from the City of St. Cloud, oh my Lord, this is the Gator Wrangler. He was already awarded once, he's gonna get awarded again. And I appreciate Dr. Pace for putting it on the agenda item, because I know it's going to be voted on later on, and we'll see how it goes. But I think that the SROs are such an integral part of the school district that I believe that we should even acknowledge them at the end of the year for the Education Award ceremony. Just like we have Teacher of the Year, just like we have Support Staff of the Year, we should also have an SRO of the Year. You know what I mean? And the way you do it's a little bit different. We can take the top 3 nominees and go up there. But I'm going to really advocate on that behalf, because they're stuck in between. They're really the employee of the law enforcement agency, but they're assigned to us full-time. Sometimes they get forgotten, and they're not forgotten on my eyes. And I think that the school district, it really appreciates having that SRO presence, and that's something that I'm going to bring up on the board meeting tonight, that we actually acknowledge you as part of the integral team of the educational institution that we are, and really thank you for your service. The other thing too is, also want to thank Katrina Panzini, I pronounced her name incorrectly. We just had a small business and veteran affairs seminar. I tell you what, folks, I've been to many different seminars on trying to do business with the school district. 5 people show up, 6 people show up. This entire room was packed. There was about 75 people who made reservations, over 50 people had showed up. The district is really committed to making sure that local businesses and small businesses and veteran-owned businesses have a place for the county. And so we want people to know that if you do have a business and you're located here in the county, or you're a veteran-owned business, we're open. We're building 10 million schools. Just look at our workshop today. We're talking about we're building way too much. And the reality is, that's a lot of money being spent. And so we need your folks to go out there, let them know that we're probably gonna have a follow-up, because there were so many people that attended, so that we can have a second session and let people know that the school district is serious about working with our local residents and really being part of that. So with that being in effect, I don't want to delay Ms. Booth's awesome recognition of Officer Burrows. Oh, not yet, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's after something else. Dr. Pace?
Because a lot of great things have been happening in the district. We do want to welcome everybody back from spring break, and I want to remind all of our students and parents and families and staff members that we really want to finish our school year strong, and how important it is to bring your best every day to your school experience. Wanted to say a huge thank you also, in addition to our amazing education awards ceremony and the great teachers and support staff folks that we were able to celebrate there in partnership with the Education Foundation and our friends at OHP. We also had an amazing event March the 4th out at Austin Tyndall, our annual Keeping Pace with Wellness 5K. Well over 3,000 employees and family members came to exercise, enjoy time together, celebrate, enjoy some food trucks. And the folks at Austin Tyndall were just amazing in working with our risk and benefits team, as well as our Rosen Care and Proventure partners. We had a lot of great community support. Also had the opportunity last night to attend an event sponsored by Congressman Soto, where he was celebrating Women's History Month, the month of March. So congratulations to all the great women out there who are role models for me and for others, and certainly have had a lot of strong women play a role in my life. But last night, Congressman Soto recognized Jenny Mohes, a digital design teacher at Tohopokalika High School, for the great work that she has done there, her leadership. And this is a retired Apple employee who came now to pour her heart into the classroom and is really doing some incredible things with our students. And then one of our recent Positively Osceola recognitions went to LaShawna Ward, who works at St. Cloud Middle School in the dean's office. Again, also just pours her heart and soul into everything that she does, and we're super proud that they were honored, and their bios were read into the congressional record by Congressman Soto. So truly a neat experience, and I was proud to be there and be a part of it. And then finally today, we got some great news out about our high school acceleration results. Preliminarily, they are up to 59%. That's an increase of 4% over the prior year. So super excited to see those high school students leaving our school district with industry certification, an AP credit, a dual enrollment credit, or an IB credit in their pocket, to demonstrating their college and career readiness. So appreciate Dr. Evans, Tia Brown, all of our high school principals and counselors, teachers and students who are working hard to help make that happen. And that is all I have.
Thank you. I always feel when it gets to me, everything good has been said. So echo what everybody else has said. And also just a special shout out to Dr. Lastenia Peñalosa and her team, who is also helping me put together a community event. So I am just, as the other board members are, just grateful for always having the team available to come out to the community and inform everyone. So with that, let's go ahead and move over to our next fine arts moment. To consider the singing of the anthem a fine arts moment as well. So we'll go ahead and usher in the students. From the jazz band of OCSA.
Essentially all it is.
I think,
And just to note that these students have qualified again for a second year in a row to attend and be a part of the outstandingly competitive, essentially Ellington competition in New York City in just a couple of months. So we're super
that was the same thing I was gonna ask, but they get accepted a second time. I know last time we got a sponsor. Do we have a sponsor for them this year as well to try to get them up there?
I don't know that we have the big sponsor that we had last year, but we've been working on some individual things, and this board has contributed to their trip as well based on our marketing dollars, just so we have a plan to do.
Awesome, thank you.
Incredible, fantastic. Vice Chair Booth.
Okay, so I have a microphone here, so I'll be here first. So I actually received a call. I received a lot of calls. This one, though, hit home. We're going to recognize a group of folks that stepped up because it is community community is wherever you're at, grocery store, anywhere else in the schools, outside of the schools. And we're going to be recognizing today some emergency medical staff, SRO burrs, school staff, and student athletic trainers for a quick response for a health issue to the St. Cloud Middle School emergency also team involving the girls basketball coach that happened, was it a month ago? About a month ago. Mr. Adams, would you like to speak at all on this?
Yep.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Members of the board, Dr. Pace, thank you for allowing us to be here this evening. We did have a medical emergency a month ago, and we had multiple people step up in that emergency situation to assist one of our employees. And we wanted to take the time tonight to recognize 8 of those people, community members, high school students, staff member, law enforcement, and a community member who all came together to immediately assist, jumped right into action, because it takes a team in these types of situations. And that's exactly what did transpire a month ago, and we were able to save one of our employees' lives with that proper training. If there's ever a time for a standing ovation, tonight is definitely going to be one of those. But before I introduce those team members that came together, I did invite the American Heart Association to be here tonight. They are great partners of ours. So I would like to introduce Michelle. She's going to come in and speak for a couple seconds.
So I always have to move it up. And then I add heels in, it makes it crazy. Good evening, my name is Michelle Turnage. I have the honor of working for the organization, the American Heart Association. I've been able to serve our organization for 6 school years. I'm starting my 7th in August. I started right before school started the first year that I had. And my very first meeting actually with any district was yours. I actually met with Mr. Phelps, who has been a phenomenal supporter along with Dr. Pace. I have had the pleasure of working with the school district of Osceola for 6 years and counting, unless something crazy happens. But I wanted to take a moment to recognize those here and also recognize our partnership. For the 6 years, we've been promoting our programs in our school-based programs in your schools. We have our Kids Heart Challenge, which is our elementary age program, and our American Heart Challenge programs. These programs are optional for students to participate in, but the families and the students get to take home heart healthy information, including the heart attack and stroke warning signs. In addition to that, over the last couple of years, I know Ryan and the team worked tirelessly to help pass students in 9th and 11th graders learning hands-only CPR, which was actually passed in your district long before the state of Florida passed that. So your students have been learning hands-only CPR for a number of years prior to the rest of the state following suit. Unfortunately, we all witnessed as Americans something happen on January 2nd on the NFL field. Unfortunately, that was near and dear to my heart. My brother was 25 at the time, coaching football at a local high school in Brevard County, and also experienced sudden cardiac arrest. This cause is very important to me, and I have a personal investment in what I do and how I serve your students and families every day. Unfortunately, 3 out of 4 Americans experience sudden cardiac arrest, and bystander CPR is not often given. There's approximately 356,000 individuals in America that experience sudden cardiac arrest, and only 40.2% receive bystander CPR. So what our students learn here in 9th and 11th grade is so vital, because they absolutely have a difference in saving someone's life. And unfortunately, in most school districts, we are heavy women typically. We have a lot of female educators in our field and in leadership, and women are less likely to receive bystander CPR too. So breaking that stereotype is really, really important. I'm just thankful for our partnership and everything that we do here. The push to teach those students that to have AEDs accessible in every single school, not behind closed doors, where people know where they are located, know how to use them, because minutes count. Unfortunately, too many people pass from it, and it is, as Ryan has stated, a skill that everyone should know but hope to never use. So what you all do, the work that you do here, is incredibly important in supporting your students, and it definitely shows that your staff is well aware of what to do, and we can see that from this outcome. So thank you for all that you do in supporting us as an organization and all that you do for your students as well. Yeah?
It's also important to realize that not only are we teaching our 9th and 11th graders, but every one of our high schools has an athletic training program. We have a full-time athletic trainer on staff, and they have their own student athletic trainers that they are training. And I do need to give a shout out. Craig Carnell is in the room tonight, the athletic trainer at St. Cloud High School. We're going to be recognizing 3 of his students here tonight that reacted immediately during this. So, Craig, if you can raise your hand, just give a little, yep, there it is. So we're gonna go ahead and introduce our 8-member team here that came together during this emergency situation. And like I said before, if there's ever an opportunity, this is gonna be it for a standing ovation. We have Kaisley Carswell, high school athletic students, Kaisley Carswell, Haley Collins, Jaylyn Benia, and Kennedy Johnson. Can you guys? Oh, we'll stand right on this side over here. We have St. Cloud High School employee and coach Chad Ansbaugh. Law enforcement officers, Officer Stephen Burrows from St. Cloud PD, Sergeant Kelly Berta from Orange County Sheriff's Department, and a community member and acute care nurse practitioner, Dr. Isaiah Mosier.
Thank you all again for being here, and thank you for what you did.
Thank you guys very much for the opportunity to present.
We can have the next presenter come up, the proclamation of Arts and Education Month.
I thought that was you, Frank.
Are you doing the proclamation of Arts and Education?
No, we have students right outside who are.
I meant the crying.
We're ready.
Good evening. As you may or may not know, this is Arts in Our Schools Month. We have some lovely students here that are going to be reading a proclamation. Before they do that, we just want to talk about a few things that our district does, some amazing things that we have coming up. One, you did see the Essentially Ellington, some of the students from OXA performing here. They are trying to get back to New York. There's a hefty cost to that, so anybody listening on YouTube or in the room, they are trying to raise $50,000. Help them out. They were voted #1 jazz band in the country last year, and we're hoping they repeat that this year. So any way you all can help them, I'm sure they'd be greatly appreciated. We also have a couple events. Dr. D is going to tell you about some of them.
Yes, I am. We have our Arts Alive event next week. Friends and Family Night is on Thursday the 30th, and then our gala is on the 31st. Arts Alive is an incredible event sponsored by the ACE Coalition, which essentially celebrates the best of our performance and visual art talent here in Osceola County. So please come on out. Everybody is invited to Friends and Family to see these incredible students on the 30th. And then if you would like to donate $50 for a ticket, all of that money goes to scholarships for our seniors at the gala on the 31st. We also have our Start Summer Arts Intensive right around the corner. Summer is almost here. Auditions for that is in 2 weeks on April 3rd. The Start Summer Arts Intensive is an awesome 2-week intensive where students from across the county in grades 6 through 12 can audition for a major, whether it's music or drama or visual art, dance, creative writing, or tech theater. And they essentially learn from from incredible educators both in our county and from around the country, and they specialize in that craft to learn and grow and get ready for the next school year. So some amazing things coming around the bend in the fine and performing arts. But we have the wonderful Kimbra and Maddie, seniors at St. Cloud High School, who are going to read our proclamation today.
Whereas the School Board of Osceola County, Florida recognizes the arts, defined as dance, music, theater, and visual arts, as an important element of a complete and balanced education, and
whereas learning in and through the arts enables students to develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills, imagination and creativity, discipline, alternative ways to communicate and express feelings and ideas, and cross-cultural understanding, which supports academic success across the curriculum as well as personal growth outside of the classroom, and
whereas imagination and creativity are increasingly understood as critical capacities needed for success in the 21st century workforce, and
whereas recent Florida Department of Education data of all 12th grade students, vetted by multiple major university researchers, conclusively show the more arts classes taken, the higher the student achievement in all measures, including graduation rate, GPA, FSA, and the SAT, regardless of ethnicity or socioeconomic status, and
whereas the arts can transform our schools into havens of creativity and exploration, places where students want to learn, teachers want to teach, and all members of the learning community are more engaged and motivated, and
whereas high-quality school-based arts education involves a wide range of partners, including educators, parents, artists and arts organizations, community members, and local and statewide organizations, and
whereas we applaud the efforts and dedication of arts educators and advocates around the state and call for school and community leaders to continue to broaden and strengthen their efforts to provide arts education for every student in every school every year.
Now, therefore, we ask the School Board of Osceola County, Florida, to hereby proclaim the month of March 2023 as
Arts Education Month! And we urge all citizens to join in recognizing the special contributions that the arts makes in lives of the children of Florida.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Board Member Melendez and a second by Vice Chair Booth. Board, all those.
Chair, is there a website where you can go to donate?
Is there a website? Can we talk about that after the motion, though?
Yeah, I just, it worked out, so
Middle
I
of
wanted to get
working
an
here.
answer.
1 second. Board, all those in favor? Aye. Congratulations. And how can we give you money?
So it depends on what you're talking about. If you're looking to donate for the Arts Alive Senior Scholarships, you can donate at the Ed Foundation at their website, so Ed Foundation Osceola. If you're looking to donate for AXA,
Essentially Ellington.
the Essentially Ellington Group, just to the school. You should donate to both, just.
That's the right answer.
Frank is going to write a $50,000 check right now.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We have star-studded presentations today. We have so many great stars, and now we have our amazing Sarah, Chief of Business and Finance Officer, Operations.
And I brought my team.
Ooh, and you've changed your shirt.
Yeah.
You got shirts. Oh, yay. Oh, yes.
Thank you all. Good evening. As they're coming in, before I read the proclamation, I just wanted to say a few words about the team and about our profession in general. Finance professionals are held to the highest standards of integrity, objectivity, competence, ethics, responsibility to honor the public trust, and a strong commitment to professionalism. Data provided to decision makers such as yourselves as school board members must be accurate, consistent, timely, and paint an honest picture of the financial position of the organization in order for you to make the most appropriate decisions on resource allocation and best meet the needs of the objectives of the district. Despite distractions and misinformation that is sometimes shared by others, our team strives to do exactly that. I couldn't be more proud of the group of outstanding individuals that make up your Budget and Finance Department, many of whom are standing here behind me today. We did a little tally and discovered that this team has close to 100 years of finance-related formal education and over 500 years of experience serving in the government finance profession. This team also has a long history of serving this district and community with excellence. Thank you to those who are here tonight, those who remain committed to dedicating their knowledge and skills to this district every single day, as well as those who worked here in the past, trained many of us, and built the incredible foundation upon which our team continues to thrive. In addition, I want to give a shout out to the many auditors, bankers, attorneys, and other private industry government finance professionals that work with us and without whom we wouldn't be able to accomplish our very important work. Our team includes all of you, and we are grateful for your partnership with the district. I also want to remind you all that we participate in the GFOA and ASBO programs for excellence in financial reporting, and just last week we received notice of our award again for this year from ASBO. So you guys will be seeing that shortly. So congratulations again to the team, and thank you to the school board for your leadership, support, and high expectations in the area of financial reporting. I will read the proclamation. So this is Government Finance Professionals Week, March 20th through 24th of 2023. Whereas the Florida Government Finance Officers Association, or FGFOA, is a professional association founded in 1937 and serves more than 3,300 professionals from state, county, and city governments, school districts, colleges and universities, special districts, and private firms. And whereas the FGFOA is dedicated to being your professional resource by providing opportunities through education, networking, leadership, and information. And whereas this Government Finance Professionals Week, sponsored by the FGFOA and all of its member governmental organizations, is a week-long series of activities aimed at recognizing government finance professionals and the vital services that they provide to our state and our community. And whereas during this week, government finance professionals throughout the state of Florida will be acknowledged for their hard work, dedication, and leadership. Now, therefore, we ask the school board to proclaim March 20th through 24th of 2023 as Government Finance Professionals Week in the school district of Osceola County, Florida, and extend our appreciation to all government finance professionals throughout the state and here in our district for their hard work, dedication, and leadership.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by myself.
Second by Vice Chair Booth. Board, all those in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you all.
There's a future NDA right there.
Future. She already has her job offer.
All right, team, let's go ahead and continue. Dr. Pace, we will start with the first appointment or transfer.
Thank you, Chairwoman Castillo, and members of the board. I have several administrative recommendations for this evening. The first is not able to be here with us tonight, but I'm proud to recommend Dr. Diane Lamar to become our Director of Special Programs. She has been a Director of State and Federal Programs and also a Director of Linked Learning and Career and Technical Education for the Palm Springs Unified School District in California for over 10 years. She's been a Career and Technical Education Consultant as well as a grant writer. She has received her bachelor's degree in social ecology from the University of California, Irvine, her master's degree in administration and supervision and instruction from San Diego State, and a doctorate degree in education leadership from Northern Arizona University. She is preparing to relocate from California and is excited with your approval board to join our special programs team.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion by Vice Chair Booth and a second by Board Member Melendez. Board, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
And if I could invite Ms. Angela Perdue to the podium, please. Board members, I'm honored tonight to recommend Angela Perdue to be our new Coordinator of Student Services under Dr. McMahon. She has held the following positions: School Psychologist for Polk County Schools, School Psychologist with Carrington Evaluation and Behavioral Services, and School Psychologist with the Osceola County School District, joining our district in 1997. She's been the Supervisor of Psychological Services for the Osceola School District since 2020. She received her bachelor's degree and educational specialist degree in school psychology from the University of Central Florida, a fellow Knight. And she is so responsive to our parents, whether it's a question about a psych evaluation, a 504 plan, and I know she will bring great passion and leadership to the team.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by Board Member Melendez, second by Vice Chair Booth. Board, all those in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
I just want to say thank you so much to Dr. Pace and her team, Dr. McMahon, for this amazing opportunity. And thank you to my family and friends who are always supporting me, especially my BFF Karen, who's always in my corner, fighting for me and cheering me on. And I want to give a shout out to our Student Services team, which honestly is just amazing. They're out there every day doing the hard work to support our students, our families, to support our schools, so that we can create that foundation and the students are ready to learn and to reach their potential. So Student Services is amazing, and I'm super excited to be in this new role.
And now if I can invite Dr. Francisco Rivera to the podium. Board members, as you know, Mr. Whedon accepted the challenge of becoming the principal at Celebration K-8 a couple of weeks ago, and I'm honored tonight to recommend Dr. Francisco Rivera to be our new principal at Narcoossee Middle. He has been a teacher at Innovations Middle Charter in Orlando. He has been a teacher and a dean at Kissimmee Middle. He's been an assistant principal at Celebration K-8, an assistant principal at Westside K-8, and has been an assistant principal at Canoe Creek K-8 since 2021. He received his bachelor's degree in political science, a master's degree in educational leadership, and a doctorate degree in education leadership from the University of Central Florida, and I was honored to be on his dissertation committee. So super excited to welcome Dr. Rivera. I know he's had great training and guidance and will do a phenomenal job at Narcoossee Middle.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Vice Chair Booth, second by Board Member Cahoon. Do you have a comment? Yes. Okay, so before the vote, we'll do the comments then. Yes.
Okay, I just want to say, I am so honored to see you here tonight. You have been instrumental in my leadership development too. I have worked firsthand behind you as a team member. I remember meeting you in crazy times in 2021 at the bus loop during COVID and a crazy school we were building together with Canoe Creek K-8 and never looked back. And I appreciate everything that you do. I'm so excited for Narcoossee Middle School, and I cannot wait to visit to see all the leadership and all the kids that you're going to be inspiring. So I'm so excited about this vote tonight. Thank you.
Amazing. Board. Motion to approve? Yes. Okay. It looks like it's unanimous. Congratulations.
Well, that was nice. Okay.
Board stamp of approval from the Vice Chair.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank the school board. I want to for approving my appointment. Thank you, Dr. Pace, for your leadership throughout these years. Happy retirement to you. I hope it's long and happy, and you get to spend a lot of time with your family. I also want to thank Dr. Allen for his support. He's always been a text and a phone call away. To Mr. Whedon, Mrs. Mannion, Mrs. Ray, and last but not least, behind me, Mr. Noyes. I want to thank you all for your guidance and support because you gave me the tools that I needed to be in front of the school board tonight. To all the APs that I work for and that I work with, thank you so much. I want to thank my parents. They're also behind me, and they're always behind me and supporting me. I want to thank my kids, Gabby and Gio. They're always the fuel to my fire. I know she doesn't like this, but I want to thank my wife. She's a wonderful mother, a supportive wife, and the rock of their family. I want to thank Ms. Booth for those kind words. It was a pleasure working with you at Canoe Creek K-8. And to my new Narcoossee Middle family, by now, that being a Jaguar, a member of the Pride, a Warrior, and an Eagle, but I'm eager and incredibly excited to become the member of the Black Bear family. So thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to seeing them tomorrow morning. Thank you so much.
And now if I can invite Ms. Diane Lowe to the podium. Board members, I'm honored tonight to recommend Diane Lowe to be our next assistant principal at Neptune Elementary School. She has served as a media specialist at Windermere Preparatory School. She's been a teacher in our school district, a math science instructional coach for our school district, and a restorative coach in our school district. She received her bachelor's degree in early childhood education from Keene University and a master's degree in educational leadership from American College, and I'm confident she'll be working very hard alongside Ms. Mahoney to help keep our Neptune Elementary School family moving forward.
Motion to approve. Second. Motion by Vice Chair Booth, second by Board Member Cahoon. Board, all those in favor? Aye. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Pace and school board members, I want to thank you for this opportunity. This has been a long and adventurous journey. However, it would have started without one of your principals, my principals, noticing the leader in me. I would like to thank some of the amazing administrators that helped me get to this point, Ms. Nadia Winston and Mr. Henry Santiago for giving me the opportunity at Westside. And thank you to Ms. Joyce Graham for always pushing me, for Mr. Jose Vasquez for guiding me and always listening, for Ms. Ray, who patiently supervised my internship, made it go smoothly, and will continue to guide me on this new path. Thank you to Patty Cummins and Janine Bracco for taking a chance on me at Highlands, where I began my full-time coaching position. To Sandra Ramirez, the one who held my hand and helped me to cross this finish line. To Maggie Rassel, we only got to work with each other for a short time, but I so appreciate you and your vote of confidence. To my new family at Neptune, I am so looking forward to working with you and being a Neptune Rocket. I knew you were my people from day one. Thank you, Shannon, and your amazing team for this opportunity. We are going to do great things together. And to my amazing family, thank you to my husband for supporting me when his crazy wife decided to go back to graduate school. And to my children, who are graduates of the Osceola County school system, who cheered the loudest when I walked across that stage. I couldn't have done it without your love and support. Thank you all so much.
Courtney Fuller to the podium, please. Board members, I'm honored tonight to recommend Ms. Courtney Fuller to become our assistant principal at Deerwood Elementary School. Ms. Fuller has been a math and science coach at Polk City Elementary in Polk County, a teacher, learning resource specialist, and instructional alignment coach at Central Avenue Elementary, and a math science coach at Deerwood since 2022. She received her bachelor's degree in elementary education from Lac Haven University and a master's in educational leadership from the University of Central Florida. And I know she will be excited to work right alongside Dr. Torres and the rest of the leadership team at Deerwood to keep them soaring forward.
Have a motion by Mr. Arguello. Second. Second by Board Member Arguello. A second by Vice Chair Booth. Board, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations. Your biggest fan is right behind you.
She doesn't hide it. Thank you all so much. Dr. Pace, thank you. And thank you to Dr. Pace, your leadership team. I am so honored to be named Deerwood's next assistant principal. I have been in that community until recently for quite a while, so I've been a challenger for a long time, and I'm going to be a challenger for a long time. I've had challengers be playing basketball in my cul-de-sac for a while and watch them ride their bikes to school as I drove all the way to Central to work. So it's an honor to help us continue to rise. I really want to thank them, our challengers, our kids, and every single staff member in that building for teaching me and preparing me to lead. And I want to thank every single family member in that community that is currently or will entrust me with their child. And I also want to thank all of my mentors. Again, Miss Nadia Winston. I don't know if she's in here tonight, but she really should be, apparently. And Mr. Audie Confessor, he's out there because he's claustrophobic. And of course, Dr. Millie Torres. And again, Miss Ray, who's mentoring more at AAPA tonight. And I want to thank my family for supporting the journey. And to all the challengers that are probably watching or out there, let's keep rising. Thank you all.
And now if I can invite Ms. Suhaili Dolan to the podium. Board members, as you know, Ms. Dolan has served this district well in leadership in a variety of roles, but she has recently requested an administrative transfer to become the assistant principal at Osceola County School for the Arts. I knew she'd find her way back to high school eventually, where she belongs now. She's done a great job at Dinjon Middle School for a long time, both with Mr. Hoyle and with Mr. Ballone, and I have had an opportunity to watch her grow for a number of years. So confident she'll do a great job with Mr. Neal and the team at Osceola County School for the Arts.
Motion approved.
Motion by Board Member Melendez, second by Board Member Arguello. For all those in favor? Aye. Congratulations.
Thank you. Just really quick, just first and foremost, I'd like to thank God for the opportunity, since through Him all things are possible. I'd like to also thank my family for their constant support. Sin ellos, sin ustedes no puedo estar aquí. Muchísimas gracias por todo. I'd like to thank Dr. Pace, Dr. Allen, I know him in absentia, and Dr. Evans, and the school board for allowing me the opportunity to continue to serve my community in this new capacity. Thank you to the entire Dinjon Dragon family these past 7 years. I've become a better leader because of you all. I will miss you terribly, but please know that once a dragon, always a dragon, and a small part of me will always be connected to you, the school, and the community. I would like to thank Mr. Neal and my new OCSA family for welcoming me with open arms, and I look forward to continuing the school's mission where passion meets purpose. Thank you.
Thank you. So those of you who are here to support folks that were being transferred or got new positions, you can leave or you can stay, because we're about to talk about important stuff. No? Okay. In the meantime, Dr. Vogel, wherever you're ready.
That was all I had.
I don't think they have one. I think it's just that a kid went there. It's that shield. That's it. Dr. Vogel.
Ready to go?
Start.
Okay, ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, first, I'm very pleased that I was able to come to this meeting.
Let's wait for the
Folks are very excited.
I'm very pleased that I was able to come to this meeting and hear the celebrations, recognitions, and the successes that have happened here with board members discussed what was going on in the district. I think it's very impressive for anybody, and anybody who's applying for the job here, I'm going to tell them to go ahead and tune into this meeting because, congratulations. It's very, very impressive. And also the way that the medical emergency was handled. I saw that on the news, and I heard Dr. Pace. She did a very factual, excellent job on talking about that, and recognizing those people involved was excellent. Also, when I turned on News 13 the other day, I was able to see Dr. Pace being recognized during the American Women's History Month, and I thought that was a plus because people are always asking what happened to the last superintendent. How is she doing? So that was also something. I didn't realize how much Osceola also made such a commitment to the arts. And I learned that we have the #1 jazz band in the country. And, with the art school, it's been amazing, what you all have done in that area. And I think that is, again, something else that is really going to be attractive to anybody applying to the district. So congratulations, and I'm so glad I was able to be here. The item on the agenda tonight was approval of the committee, and we did have one change. Our student that we had recommended through our method that Mr. Kruckenbacher suggested is unable to serve, so we contacted the other student, Destiny Jennings, and we're waiting for her to give us the okay to go ahead and serve. So I'd like to, I think it's on the agenda for approval, so the first item would be to approve the committee so we can get started.
Thank you. I have a motion by Board Member Cahill and a second by Vice Chair Booth. Board, all those in favor of approving the list? Aye. Aye. A comment? Thank you. So the list passes with the pending change, and then Board Member Melendez, you have a comment or question?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how we handle that change. What if the student said, well, hopefully the student says
Well,
yes.
yeah, that is a question.
And then we'll just move forward with one less person on the committee, so that, because we're running out of time.
Yeah, no, I'm
If they
okay
say
with
no-
that.
That's what I'd recommend. If Destiny's unable to serve, then we will just move forward because we want to get started. The board members have already reviewed the guidelines for the committee. And Mr. Kruckenbacher and Mrs. Messina are going to work later this week on the guidelines for the Sunshine Law video, and then we're going to send that out to all the members on the committee because they'll be under government sunshine until they turn in their list of recommendations. So I believe that's scheduled, and we'll be getting that to them for Thursday. So appreciate it. The other thing I'd like to do, pending approval of the board here, is just review the search process with you and just let you know what's coming up, if that would be okay. Try to do that very briefly. So today, basically, the only item we had to approve was the advisory committee membership. And what we'll do is we will send them notices of all the meetings. They already will probably have that, but we'll send them copies of the applications, copies of the guidelines for the committee, and then we'll proceed with those meetings. They'll be all set up. We haven't contacted them until the board approved it because we didn't want to get them under sunshine any sooner than they have to be. The next thing will happen on the March 28th, we'll be back, and we'll talk about the applicant screening process for selecting semifinalists. We'll also talk about, and this is the process where each board member can start to be thinking about a question they want to ask the applicants when the semifinalists are identified, and then we'll ask the semifinalists to respond either in video form or in writing. And what we'll do is we'll contact each board member individually on that, so we don't have any duplication of questions, and we'll work the question out whatever you would like. So that's coming up, and you'll have plenty of time to decide that. I just want the board members to be thinking about that one particular question. So on March 28th, we'll talk about the process for selecting semifinalists. We'll also talk about the interview schedule and the activities that we would recommend for the finalists when they come in to Osceola County. We'll go ahead and we'll talk about that process. We recommend usually 3 to 5 finalists. And then we'll go ahead and provide the board with a summary of common items that are in superintendent's contracts. And that would be the time when the school board attorney reviews probably the current contract with Dr. Pace, and board members have a chance to look at other contracts just to get the board members familiar with what's in contracts.
Members of the board, if you go, you each got an email from me today with 6 contracts from across the state that have come in so far. So it'll kind of give you a landscape of what's out there.
We like to do that early on, and normally the process is the chairman and the school board attorney will negotiate the contract, but we like all the board members to understand some of the areas that can go into contracts. So that's why we start looking at it early on in the process right there. The advertisement period ends on April 14th. Already we're starting to get applications. They're starting to come in. We just posted, but we're starting to get applications, and we're expecting to get, of course, several more, with just the reminder that most of the applications come in the last week. So, we always get a little, concerned when we don't have a lot at the beginning, but then they start coming in towards the end. Then we have our 3 advisory committee meetings scheduled for April 20th, April 24th, and our 2 meetings in which we'll go ahead and the advisory committee meetings will be held. We'll facilitate those meetings. And at the end of that second meeting, then the advisory committee will come up with recommendations on who they want to continue in the process. They don't rank the candidates, but they just give us a list of those people who they want to continue with the process. And then on May 16th, we'll come to the school board and identify the semifinalists without any necessary ranking. And then we'll talk a little bit about the process for selecting the finalist. Once we select the semifinalists, that's when we'll send out the questions that the board members have, and then those applicants, the semifinalists, will have an opportunity. They'll have 1 week to go ahead and turn those questions around. When they come back, we'll post the videos on the website, and then you'll get the written responses. They'll also be posted. So that gives the community an opportunity, as well as board members, to start becoming acquainted with, the applicants. Some of the questions can be like, tell us the reason why you're interested in coming to be superintendent in Osceola. It could be something about what is your success in closing the achievement gap. Do you have experience with growth counties? Whatever the board members want, and we'll work with you on those questions. So that will happen. We'll also then start the background screening process with the attorney, the law firm which we use in Orlando. It's Greenspoon Martyr. So we'll be working with them on the in-depth background checks. We're always doing background checks and checking throughout the entire process. And what's nice about it, because all the applications are posted on the website, we get a lot of help from the community. We get a lot of help from HR. They take a look at things too. So by the time we get down to the finalists, we have a pretty good idea on all of the applicants. We're able to check them out pretty carefully. We work with HR when it comes to the professional practices, background checks, and also the pending actions with them. So on May 22nd, we received the responses from the semifinalists. We disseminate those. And then on May 30th, we go ahead and at a special board meeting, identify the finalist. And then at that particular point, we'll talk about the process for how we're going to move forward with that. And we have a protocol which we provide if the board wants to use that, or if they want to do their own, but we have all that information. And that's the time when the board members we'd ask the board members to select an area of their interest. And what we try to do is we have a bank of questions, and what we try to do is tailor-make the bank of questions to the strategic plan areas. So, for example, we'd have one board member who's interested in academic success would ask questions on academic success, personal leadership and talent management, fiscal responsibility, community engagement, safety and security. We're not going to be doing that for a while, but each board member would pick an area that they really like, and then we would provide a bank of questions for those areas. If you don't like the questions, you can ask your own. It's not a problem, as long as they're consistent, that we try to ask all the questions. So we'll have that for you to utilize if you'd like. And so then, after that, May 30th, we would talk about the on-site interviews. Then we would, on June 5th and 6th, the applicants would be on site. The first day, on June 5th, we have the applicants do interviews with the entire board. And they're open to the public. They can be live streamed or anything you'd like, so anybody can see those. And we usually have an hour to an hour and a half interview, depending on what the board preference is. And then each applicant would come in. While the one applicant is interviewing, the other applicants, we usually have hosts, and the host could either get a tour of the different departments or buildings or take a community tour. Now, back a few years ago, the community tours were doable. Now, it took me 45 minutes to get from the Turnpike exit to St. Cloud High School. So that might not be possible right now, but we'll work out some way where the other applicants are engaging in some way with the district areas, and we'll get input from the board on that. That night of June 5th, we would like to have we recommend some sort of community reception. And the last time we did the search here, we had it at Valencia, and we had I think the biggest turnout we've ever had for a community reception. There were, I think, more than 200 people showed up there, and we have kind of a meet and greet where all of the finalists, if there were 3 finalists, for example, or 4 or 5, whatever the board chooses, each finalist would talk about 5 minutes about themselves and why they want to be superintendent, and then they would leave the room. Then we do that for all 3. And then they would go to separate areas in the same room, and then people could circulate around to all of the different areas and meet and talk with the candidates individually. And that's worked out really nice, even in one large room, and then board members can be there and they can see the interaction. And then we also, we would have a QR code, so people could go ahead and use a QR code to identify the strengths of each candidate and the challenges. And then we would put all that information together for the board members that night. And on the second day, on that Friday, on the next day, board members would have individual interviews with each of the candidates, maybe an hour to an hour and a half. We can work out the time on it. And then you'd also have the benefit of all of the feedback from the people at the community reception the night before. We have other time opportunities for maybe a luncheon and other gatherings in different time, and we'll work all that out as we move through the process. But basically, that works. It's kind of the way it works out. It's worked out pretty successfully in the past. And then on June 13th, we would select the superintendent, the board would select the superintendent, and contract negotiations would begin as we discussed. So that's a very brief overview of the process, and I'd be happy to ask any questions. As far as the way it's going right now, it's going very well, and I want to commend the board. We had probably one of the best discussions on the qualities that you're looking for the last meeting, and I think, like I said, with those qualities, those qualities, you can use those for when you're working on your strategic plan or for whatever purposes you want to, in addition just to the search. So if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them at
Vice
this
Chair
point.
has a question.
Sure.
It's a comment.
Sure.
The agenda item, thank you, is about approving also the committee. I first want to thank all who have stepped up to reach out. I can't speak on behalf of everyone else, but to take on this task and be a part of the committee process is commendable, that you're stepping up and caring about our education for Osceola County Schools. Also, there's many in the room that have reached out through email. I continue to want that input, whether you are on the committee or not, and we'll take into consideration all of that to make my decision. But I just want the communication to keep coming. I appreciate all of the outreach you're doing. Our district staff's doing a great job getting out there online. Thank you, Tanya, for informing us with so much information. This is a huge task, and I just appreciate everybody, so thank you.
Thank you. Board members, any other comments or questions?
Thank you, Dr. Vogel, for being very clear and articulating my.
I just want to thank you. It's truly an honor to be able to work here again in Osceola County. We're committed to doing everything we can. We're always available by phone or text or email, and please feel free to call us if you have any questions or anything that's coming up. But so far, everything is going according to schedule and going extremely well. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Dr. Vogel.
Thank you.
Thank you, team. Let's go ahead and work on some of our agenda modifications. I will go ahead and start with Board Member Melendez.
Item 703, 1015, 1401, and then then, I guess it's regular agenda, but just items I'm gonna talk about, 1601 and then 1802.
Thank you. Board Member Arguello?
Yes, 7.03, which I guess he already pulled, just no, sorry. 9.02, 10.04.
All set? Thank you. Vice Chair Booth?
That's here already, 1601.
Thank you. Board Member Cahoon?
No additional.
Thank you. Dr. Pace?
I have nothing.
Thank you. So just to repeat the agenda modifications, and this includes regular agenda, 7.03, 9.02, 10.04, 10.15, 14.01, 16.01, 18.02. Did I get everything? Okay.
Motion to approve agenda.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve agenda as submitted by Board Member Arguello.
Second.
Second by Board Member Cahoon. Board, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. We'll start with 7.03.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This one is a little bit confusing. At the end of the contract, and I just want some clarity, that, let me make sure I have the right one. On the final page, page 5, it talks about administrative fees. I was under the impression that we're paying them, they're like equivalent to a school teacher, right? But I thought we were withholding that administrative fee from them to pay, not paying the administrative fee on top of the salary. So in other words, you pay a salary, and then the company is doing their management and doing the paperwork with the visa. That part I get, they need to get paid, don't get me wrong. But I thought, I just want to make sure I'm reading the contract correctly. But I was under the impression that that fee gets deducted. So we're not paying, let's say, $47,500 plus the $14,000 administrative fee. I thought we were just paying straight up $47,000, and the $14,000, the new employee coming in is getting less money because they're getting their fees deducted because they're getting a visa and everything else processed for them. Because that's really the way it kind of should be. The district shouldn't be paying twice.
Dr. Pace has a comment. I don't know if you wanted to start.
We could just, either one of us could clarify. We do not pay benefits for these employees, so retirement, healthcare, those types of things are handled by EPI. So the district does absorb the cost of the fee. So by the time you calculate $47,500 for one of our district teachers plus benefits, our average salary rate is now up to $70,000 per year. 70 and change, I believe, is the average figure that Jose quoted today based on our current salaries. So we're still paying less for these teachers with the $47,500 plus the fee.
I guess that's a philosophical thing. I just disagree because to them, and I agree with the program. Don't get me wrong, don't misinterpret that. I agree with the program. But somebody willing to come into this country, you're doing their visa, it's like a huge incentive to be able to come in here and stay in the country and work for 3 or 4 years before they head back. I believe they would be willing to burden part of that fee. So for us to not ask for, especially these people are asking for increased administrative fee, that increase should be borne by the employee coming in or the applicant coming in. And I don't think that's going to sway their decision whether or not they want to come here, because it is a privilege to come into the United States. And we're talking about saving money, that's a good way we can save money.
Thank you, Mr. Melendez. Mr. Arguello, did you pull this one as well? Yes.
So I noticed the same thing. It was the same issue. When we're talking about taking a teacher, first of all, it's nothing against the teachers that are out there. I know many of them. I've met many of them through my visits to the schools. They're great teachers. But these teachers are here living in the United States, so $47,500, it's not like they're living like kings in the United States on $47,500. But that's a $14,500 fee that instead of going to a teacher, is going to this corporation. So we might be paying $70,000, that's an $8,000 difference. If we were just, that's a ton. So essentially this works out to $2 million, right? I think that, how many teachers are in this program?
This year, we had 18 enter the program from EPI and 20 from IAG. Since we started in 2019, we've hired a total of 79.
Okay, 79, so I thought it was more than that, but 79 would still be over $1 million that we're paying to this company for teachers. it's a lot, and I think $62,000 for this, that's an exorbitant price. I mean, to pay them for, here's the thing, I could go to any country in Latin America, find a teacher that's willing to take this $47,500 and take you pay me $14,500 to go find a teacher in another country, you're gonna find them everywhere. Then we should have 500, 1,000 teachers. I mean, because anybody's gonna take $47,500 from another country to come here and teach, and if you're paying this agency $14,500, I mean, that's just, it's the wrong way. This is not a good way to spend money. $14,500. I mean, we could pay teachers the $14,500 more on top of their salaries. They could have used that $2 million. It's just, this is not a good expenditure of the money. I get it. The agency has a service, but $14,500 as a fee for this service. Yeah, that's a tremendous per teacher. So for every teacher, they're getting paid almost $15,000. I mean, I'm going to start this company. I'm going to go to Polk County. I'm going to do the same service for $14,500. I'll be rich.
Hey Frank, are we allowed to request they split it? Because still kind of accept the contract, but ask them to split the difference between the employee? Because that way the company's still getting paid their money.
You can direct us to go back to them and say the board is in favor of this contract if you'll reduce the administrative fees by splitting them. You can always ask that. They may say no. I don't know what they'll say.
I think that we should negotiate on this contract. This is.
Because they're still collecting their money, whether they get it from us or get it from the employee directly. I just think that, so I believe conceptually with the program, I'm not opposed to it. Obviously, I championed it last year because we're hurting for certified teachers. But I just think that just logically, and when I've spoken to many people, it's a privilege to come into America, and we're sponsoring a visa. Because I actually have a business myself right now, and if you wanted to get somebody specialized to come in, you have to get it approved with the Department of State. It's not an easy task that we're doing for these folks to be able to come in here. And so
this isn't temporary. Like, they're not staying here. They have to leave.
No, I understand.
5 years. And they pay that fee every 5 years. We pay it every year.
But it's a privilege of coming into America and getting that educational resume, building you up. When you go back to your country, you can say, hey, you taught in Osceola County. You might not think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but when you go to somewhere else, it really is. You know what I mean? So you're increasing the value. And I just think that, again, we're just talking about how we just had a workshop today about how we can save money. We can save $7,500 for every person that comes in if we split the difference. Or $72,500, whatever it is. I just think that at least we attempt it. Let the company come back and say, you know what? I mean, I don't know why they would say that, because they're still collecting their money regardless. They're just splitting it with the employee or a potential contractor, whatever you want to call it.
Thank you.
So that would be my only modification to that.
Board Member Arguello?
Yeah, and this is not a one-time fee. This is every year. We're paying the company $14,500 per year to bring these over. $14,500 may cover all the fees to send someone on vacation to some sunny beach in Latin America to find teachers, and then $14,500 to have an attorney do all of the documentation, and then 3 years on top of that, we're still paying $14,500 for the reoccurring administration. I mean, that is just it. Why didn't I think of this? It's genius. If a school district is going to pay this kind of fees, I mean, that's almost $100,000 to find a teacher. I mean, that's.
Dr. Pace, is this time sensitive?
Yes. We currently have 67 active employees in this district, and of those, I would have to do the math in my head really quickly for EPI. Well, all but 20. So 47 of them are with EPI. Our IAG contract could continue, but we have a very similar arrangement with IAG because for that fee, they are responsible for recruitment, pre-arrival preparation, travel, orientation, domestic transportation, and instructional services support, application and evaluation process, personal interviews, the criminal record check, reference checks, assistance with procuring the visa, assistance with securing educator licensure. They coordinate transportation from the country of residence to the teaching location. They provide assistance with the educators procuring of local transportation and lodging. They provide additional consultation and staff development as necessary. They provide health, medical evacuation, and repatriation insurance, and when necessary, provide the school with educators' written authorization for the school to perform any of these duties. So it's not just that we're paying $14,000 to this company to say thank you for giving us a teacher. They're then incurring some of these expenses to support that teacher during their time here, including the benefits that we pay to our current employee. This is a decision of the board if you don't want to do it, but I will tell you that during the course of time since we started in 2019, we've had 79 teachers enter the program, and we have an 84.8% retention rate.
Motion to approve.
And just so it's clear,
One second, I have a motion by Vice Chair Booth. And a second by Board Member Cahoon. Thank you. And two things, Mr. Arguello's light was before yours. So I will entertain more comments, but we do have motions on the floor. Mr. Arguello, then Mr. Melendez, and then we should take a vote.
Yeah, I think that's grossly irresponsible. For all the things that you mentioned, I could do for just a tiny fraction of the amount of money we're paying this company. It's not like, and also these employees are forced, right? They could be forced to take a $3,000 loan from the company in order to come here. So, which we also separate into paychecks and whatever. I understand the partnership, I understand the process, I understand the value. $14,500, I want to know who their lobbyist is, because, I mean, this is a great model, okay? It's nothing on the company, they're providing good teachers, okay, fine. $14,500, this is it's a gross oversight by a school district to pay that type of fee for an employee for 5 years. $100,000 a year to find this company. It does not cost this company that kind, anywhere near that money to do all of that documentation overseas. I know that firsthand. I'm not even gonna run again for this seat. I'm just gonna start in one of these companies. It's craziness. It's craziness to pay that kind of fee for this money. We don't pay $14,500 to our teachers here to find them or to retain them. So, I mean, how can we be paying that to some company? Again, when it's a company, and I'll end with this, when it's a company with a good model, then the district throws money at them like crazy. When it's our teachers or if it's anybody else trying to do the right thing, we either get rid of them or we don't pay them out. So this is counterproductive. And it's just when I think about the teachers are here right now, and we're paying these types of fees to find teachers from another country instead of it's just not great. This is not great.
I'll just be brief again. I support the program, like we said, but can the maker of the motion just amend it to allow, to ask the question at least, to say, hey, can they split it with the employees? If they say no, then we go forward, but to at least not try to save the district money, especially when the employees, the administrator's still getting the fee. So I just want to sit there and I'll pass this motion, but can we just say, can we go back to the contract and renegotiate, can the fee get split between the employee and the school district?
I'm going to amend my motion and then get more information on this item to get that to come back to us. We do need, that is something, even in our facilities workshop, all the workshops we've had today as well, I've come monthly to staff to try to get, how can we do more for our teachers? I'm willing to get the information, so thank you.
So can we table this then?
No, there's no need to table, we can go forward, we just have to negotiate with the company.
And if they say no, we just move forward with the contract?
Bring it back, bring it back.
Okay, so just so we can amend, 1 second, please. I want to repeat the motion to make sure that everyone knows what they're voting on. Vice Chair Booth is amending her initial motion to go back to the company, try to renegotiate the $14,000 fee, and if they do not, then we will move forward with this contract.
No, not to renegotiate the fee. They're still getting the $14,500 fee. The splitting on where they collect it from. It doesn't need to come 100% from the school.
No, yeah, we can't tell them how to do
their
it.
business,
My
though.
motion.
I'm not sure that we can tell them how to collect that money. I feel like, and I'm sorry, this is out of
Because
order.
I was
I'm
under-
calling myself out of order.
But that was the impression I was under in the first contract. I was surprised this even came up, because when I was talked about it the first time we did it, I was told that that's a whole different ball of wax, not to negotiate the fee. It's who it gets deducted from. This is kind of bamboozling me, because I thought that's the way it was. Then I saw this contract, I was like, wait a second, we're paying both? I thought we were getting the fee deducted.
Okay, Vice Chair, how do you want to amend your motion?
Okay. I need more information. I need more information. So my amended motion,
So there is.
and table it, motion to table.
So we're emotionally, okay, when we table it, someone has to bring it up either at the next meeting or it dies. So do we want to give it, okay.
You want to continue it to the next meeting, so it'll be on the agenda automatically. to next
Unfinished
meeting.
business? Unfinished business for next meeting? Okay.
Yeah, and then I guess since it is being tabled, Madam Chair, then I ask staff that when they come back to us at the next meeting, see what other contracts are doing with other people, because I really was under the impression, and I'm not here to put names, get crazy, anything like that, but I really was under the impression that the fee was deducted from the employees. And so I want to give a feel of what other districts are doing and how that contract is structured.
Is Heather still seconding the new motion?
I will second the new motion. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I will add, because Dr. Pace says something that gives me a lot of pause, that there are plenty of current teachers that are under this contract that would be affected by this new change. What Mr. Melendez is suggesting, is that true?
Yes.
Okay, so
47.
teachers who would now be required to participate in paying that fee?
I don't know that, I'm just telling you, we currently have 47 on our
Okay,
books
okay.
from EPI.
Okay. Yes, let's table it. Let's continue the conversation next meeting. We might also want to include information about what, we have a second partner in this, ING. Can we also include what their fees are so that we can do a comparison?
And there are now several other districts in the state negotiating with these same companies. So we're competing with them for the same teachers in the same pool. So we will certainly have to look at everybody else's.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, board. Thank you, Dr. Pace. Thank you, Tim.
Just for clarification, so 7.03 now is, the motion was to table it to unfinished business for the April 11th board meeting to gather more information by Erica, second by Heather.
That is correct.
Thank you.
And just to confirm, we're all in favor of that, yes?
Aye.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, board. Let's move on to item 10.15.
So 902.
902.
Oh, I apologize. Board member Arguello.
Yeah, so I just wanted to, we saw the Osceola Jazz Band earlier, the Oxa Jazz Band earlier, and I wanted to say congratulations because they were going, of course, with all that happened. So good luck. I hope you raise all that money, and I hope you get there. That's on that item. And then also I wanted to congratulate the Liberty High School JROTC. They're on their way to Fort Benning. I've been there. It's not great, but anyways, congratulations. And good luck, safe travels to both of you. And with that, I'll motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve by board member Arguello, second by Vice Chair Booth. Board, all those in favor? Aye. Thank you. And now we are moving to 10.04.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Did you have 1004 also? I'll defer to Mr. Arguello to.
Okay, board member Arguello, then board member Melendez.
Okay, so this is the bus donations. We're donating a bus to this company that does crash testing. It was very interesting. This is probably a good use of of a bus that we're about to get rid of anyways, according to that contract. And I encourage many of our students, if you're interested, this might be a great thing to go and observe and participate. Any students that are interested in engineering or just curious about why you should wear a seatbelt or be careful on the road or so on, there's a variety of reasons. But I just wanted to make everyone aware that that was happening. So they're going to test crash this bus. You probably would never notice because it's on 192 in Osceola County, but this is a test, and I would encourage as many people to participate in observing that as possible. So that's all of that.
Thank you, Mr. Arguello. I agree. I echo his sentiments. And also, I happened to speak to somebody the other day that, can we look at the inventory of our buses, like, and before they go out of service completely, kind of like, before they're in there, there's other smaller districts, and talked about other countries, that are willing to buy some of these buses. So instead of just donating them as surplus, let's say it takes 10 years for a bus before it gets completely out of service. Maybe at year 8, we start talking to other school districts around the country, and they're like, one of them came to me and goes, "We'd like to buy some of your buses because we don't have access to it."
And we do surplus, we do auction off buses on a regular basis through our warehouse surplus staff. I will tell you that they're much older than year 8.
Yeah, I was just
Our
making
buses
up- I
are
was just
still
making up-
driving well beyond year 8.
I was just making up a number. The point is, before they die completely,
Yes.
they may have some residual value to somebody else. And then we could take that money and then buy a new bus with, that way we're not just buying it with no money at all to start with.
And we
know
do
we always
that.
have impact fees.
We do that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you did, I'm sorry. I was.
A motion and a second. Board, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll move on to 10.15, Board Member Melendez.
I'm a little bit confused on the different people involved in this. This is Cedar Gate, Helix Holdings. Is this, and it says healthcare information, is this like a subcontract under Rosen to provide medical records, or like who's who, and like what exactly are they providing? Because I was reading it and I didn't quite understand. This is between Cedar Gate, Helix, and why are like two different companies in there? Assignment and assumption, like is Helix buying out Cedar Gate, or Cedar Gate buying out Helix?
Cedar Gate took over, and we're directly contracting with no middleman involved. As it was explained to me, and they manage all of our healthcare records. Correct, sir?
Yeah. So this is an assignment from them. Did they sell to the other company, or like? Because usually we do assignments when people just change names. Like Mr. Arguello is no longer Mr. Arguello, it's Mr. Arguello Inc. And so then we sign it over. But this sounds like, is this, like what happened? You know what I mean? Like why are they giving it the way contract over to somebody else?
The contract that we had with Cedar Gate used to be directly with Helix, who was running our healthcare center, who no longer exists. So we're now direct contracting with Cedar Gate for the data.
Oh, so Helix doesn't, did they go bankrupt?
We're not working with Helix anymore. We have a new partner called People One.
So who's in, because I was confused about, because the reason why is I know Rosen has no employees. Rosen was subcontract with Helix to provide the actual
Helix
employees.
is out, People One is now in as of January 1st, different staffing entity that's managing the health center. So instead of running this contract through them, we're just running it directly with the school district.
We're trying to start, one of the efficiency plans was to start trying to take things directly and slowly eliminate any middle person.
Okay, so this is just for the healthcare records portion of it, not the staffing portion?
Correct.
Right.
And then the staffing, so who does Rosen hire now to staff the employees?
People One. A company called People One that started on January 1st.
Did we have to approve that, or they could just staff whoever they want without board approval? Can they, if their agreement
We
was...
went over all of this in the last healthcare workshop. But that was all effective as of January 1st.
Yeah, we never approved it, we don't vote in a school.
No, because we have a contract with Rosen Care Solutions, and then they're contracting with People One.
Okay. No, I thought that was a little just different than what I'm used to, because when you contract with Rosen, and you're under the impression that they're using this company, when they switch subcontractors, they usually have to have board approval before they do that. Because like I got a contract with John to hire Terry. John's no longer hiring Terry, he's hiring somebody else. And that kind of contract is kind of null and void, because it's like, because I was under the assumption that John was working with Terry. But now John is no longer working with Terry, he's working with Tanya. So is that okay for them to do that on their own? Do they have the unilateral ability in the contract to do that?
We were very heavily involved in that. I'd have to default to legal counsel as to whether that needed to be a formal board action based on our contract with Rosen Care or not. But we were very heavily involved in that process.
My recollection is that Rosen is accountable to us to provide those services. They then contract with whoever they want, and if we're not satisfied, we can hold Rosen accountable, et cetera.
But there's an issue about the confidential information. Like, when you subcontract with somebody else, you got HIPAA
But
violations.
we
you
got all the
you got,
protections
you know,
that they can't, they've got to comply with HIPAA and Florida law also in everything, and that's tied in with Rosen.
Which is the reasoning for the questions that I'm asking, because when you switch from one person to another, we vetted one person, now you have to make sure that the new person, are they HIPAA compliant? You know, are they, you know, what I mean, but we just say that, but did they submit documentation? Did anybody from the school district verify that they're doing adequate protection measures of our healthcare data and things like that? You know, did it have security, you know, firewalls to make sure it doesn't get broken into? I mean, so just not against that, but that's the reason why when you assign a contract to somebody else, it usually gets approved by us, and we have to vet them before the assignment occurs. I mean, did
No,
anybody?
you approve an assignment of a contract that is directly with you. If you hire a construction company, they can switch out every subcontractor they want, because our contract is with the construction company, not the subs. So that's
Another one's gonna be held liable, so if they mess up.
That's what's gone on here. Now, our long-term goal, if you remember, I keep saying it to everybody, is to eventually phase out all the consultants and everybody and have the capability, because we've learned everything and we have the talent, to manage this totally ourselves. So the Cedar Gate taking it over was another step in our eliminating and having direct access. The second reason was, you recall, when we took over healthcare, Cigna wouldn't give us the health records. Remember? Now, these health records are ours, and our contract is directly with the entity, so we have access if we need them to give them to doctors so we can continue healthcare.
Right, so this contract allows us to get access to those records?
Yes, yes. And just for the record, nobody has access to the records of employees. It's only the healthcare providers that have access.
Mr. Arguello, I know that you have a comment, but I do have a motion by Vice Chair Booth. A second it. And a second by Board Member Cahoon with Mr. Arguello still pending comment. Mr. Arguello, or Board Member Arguello, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's good. So, here's the thing, is this, and I think the most important question is this adding $75,000 to our costs? Or is this a replacement of another company? The $75,000 that we're paying this company was the same exact $75,000 that we were paying the other company? Yes, so there's no change. They're literally assigning the same money, they're assigning it. I'm sure in the contract that we had previously, because I've read all the contracts that come before us, there's always a 9 assignment thing unless we agree, right? If they're gonna assign it, why wouldn't we just put this back out to bid?
This is currently the data that's going on in the health center.
Yeah, but, so it's $75,000. The number seems odd to me. If we were like midway through a contract, which I would assume that we would be, right? We're somewhere in the middle of a contract with this company. It's $75,000, right? So we're not starting over $75,000. Let's say this is month 6, we pay $150 a year, it's $75,000, we're switching at some kind of point, right? It has to be that way, right? In our contract, we have non-assignment language. In every contract I've ever read, there's non-assignment language. We're making the decision to accept an assignment by one vendor to another vendor. There's no increase in cost to us, is what you're telling me, right? So we could, at that, I mean, what happened with Helix? This does not change, hold on, Frank. This does not change our arrangement in where we have direct access to anybody, because it's the same thing. We pay one guy, right? And we have access to our documents. They may have hired somebody else, and here Cedar Gate has our materials. If it's not reducing our cost, it makes no difference to us, right? Unless it's reducing our cost, what difference does it make how close we are to the actual where the hard drives are or anything else?
Can I try and address this
Yeah.
issue? All right. Felix had a contract with Rosen, right? And they're Cedar Gate, and they have a relationship. We basically are having the Helix contract assigned over to the school district with no price change, is my understanding of what was said. I can tell you, we can look to bid it out in the future, but based upon my knowledge of when this popped up, we didn't have any time to bid it out, because we would have interrupted. And the one thing I can tell you is, the ability to service our employees, this entity is probably one of the most critical besides the medical providers. So I think I go back to keeping a record of when contracts expire, so that the board can always look ahead of time and say, we want to bid these. It's the best record of making sure we don't run into this issue.
But shouldn't we be bidding all of our contracts? I mean, awarding a contract to this guy just doesn't, I mean, that's not the normal procurement process.
Well, we're actually taking over the contract and simply having it with the entity called Cedargate. We're not giving out a new
Yeah,
contract.
they're assigning it. It's not even us. We're just accepting it.
right.
That's all we can do.
That's right, exactly.
Right? So we can accept it, but I mean, something that's, why would a company just give away $75,000? There has to be, I mean.
I don't think a company wanted to be, that's in this business, likes the idea of being terminated by a public entity. It doesn't do well for future business. And there were a lot of behind-the-scenes discussions to assure we could move in this direction and be more efficient.
So then we went, I mean, again, this, in terms of a procurement question, it makes it very tricky, because then what you're telling me is that we heavily influenced a company to give up a contract that they won by bid, or actually they had the contract with Rosen. With Rosen. I mean, okay.
All right, team, I do have a motion in a second. Mr. Melendez, I realize you have a comment. It says comment or question essential to your voting.
Yeah, just one quick question then. So does that, because you said we were hiring Helix, we were paying Helix something and then they were hiring, subcontracting out them before? Because if they're not there, you said you cut out the middleman, then how come the price doesn't go down? Like if you cut out the middleman, you're going straight to the source.
Well, in this case, we cut out the middleman of an entity having a contract with Rosen as opposed to us.
Ah.
Right, so the steps.
Gotcha, and they're passed through, so there's no.
Each step is
I'm
another
clear,
step
Madam Chair, I'm ready to vote.
to get where we
Thank you.
go.
It's clear. Thank you so much, team. All right, board, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign? Thank you, motion passes. Next is board member Melendez, 1401.
Yes, Madam Chair, this is,
That's on the regular agenda, so there's no items.
Oh, I'm so sorry, and that is correct. So we don't have anything else pulled from consent. We have a couple of information items. Are there any presentations on these?
Not to my knowledge, no.
All right, team, have we read all of the information items? And do we have any questions before we move on to regular? Thank you. All right, so item 13.01.
Motion to approve.
I've got a motion by Vice Chair Booth, second by Board Member Arguello. Board, all those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Oh, I didn't hear. Yes, thank you. 1401, Mr. Melendez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is, I guess, page 5. If I come in here, this is the administrative
Handbook?
the handbook, yes. There's one thing, and it's item D on page 5. There was consideration will be given to market comparativeness. This is like when they make an offer for an employee for a specific position. I didn't like how they struck the second sentence where it says, under no circumstances will salary placement when they hire a new employee be less than the minimum or above the maximum of the salary range, which to me that makes sense because that's what the salary range is for. So this is, by striking it, it's saying that I can hire Mr. Arguello for lower than the salary range that's posted for that position or higher. So I don't like that. If you have a salary range, if they have a bunch of experience, that's the salary range. No one should have the ability to make more than the salary range or the ability to make less than the salary range because we're just trying to be cheap. You know, I'm Mr. Cheap, trust me. But if we have a salary range, I don't want to pay somebody less than the salary range. And I don't want to pay somebody more than the salary range, because then it creates a disparity. So that's to me where, and I also have a couple other items, but that's one of them. I believe you have a salary range for a purpose, and you stay within that salary range. If somebody's a rock star, then you start them at the top of the salary range, but they shouldn't make more than the salary range.
Can we have, Tammy respond, please?
Right. I mean, every job description has a pay level. So that person is placed on the pay level, so they're not going to be placed outside of the pay level. So depending on the market industry, we could have some gentlemen maybe in facilities that in whatever their range is, they may need a higher salary to get them in here, but it's still going to be within the pay level as on the job description.
So you don't need this.
No, it's just unnecessary. Yeah, it's just unnecessary language.
Is range replaced by level? Is that what the change
Job
is?
classification and pay grade based on, so it's on the job description. So they're paid on the pay level of the job description.
Yeah, but that second sentence guarantees that they're in it. I guess it could be redundant, but why did the authors of the first document have it under that as the original intent? So, I mean, because when, at least that's my interpretation, right? You gotta strike through language, that means that it was original like that, and this is what we're interpreting to go in there. And so I kind of agree with what you're saying, but will you be opposed to just bringing that part back, to sit there and say, okay, that way I just feel have the warm and fuzzy that we're not striking language that says you're not gonna make above and below that range.
Keeping that language lets you operate. The only way you can go off that language is if the board approves it. So I would recommend you put it back in, because I don't see where it impairs the ability to do anything.
Why was, Mr. Argüello, just a moment of privilege, because I don't have a, why was the language taken off to begin with? Was it?
It just, to the committee, it seemed redundant.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, but then it's like, when it removes, it's like, so it's not different, so I guess we can still accomplish the same thing, but just to me, it just gives me that warm and fuzzy that, hey, we're not gonna be able to pay someone outside. The other item is on page 18. Let me scroll over myself here, I don't have the exact. This is the supplements for graduate extra degrees. Give me 2 seconds to scroll up here. Yeah, number 5, advanced degree specialist credentials on page 18. A, it says administrators and the superintendent will have the following credentials. I don't think we should give the superintendent extra pay for having a doctorate degree, because we're negotiating with the superintendent to make a whole lot of money. This supplement was intended for teachers that don't make that much money. It doesn't make $200-something thousand a year, so we want to pay them an extra supplement. So the language has administrators and the superintendent. So the superintendent, we can negotiate with them a contract, and then they shouldn't get an extra $3,000 just for holding a degree.
I don't earn an additional supplement.
Well, according, I'm not saying you do, but according, I'm just going by the letter of the law.
I just want it for clarity purposes.
Delete the superintendent, because it will be in a contract.
Yeah, and so that's, it's mentioned a couple times in A and B, administrator and superintendent, so I just want to make sure that the superintendent is stricken.
Thank you for bringing that up. Why, do we have a specific reasoning as to why we include a superintendent when superintendent has a completely separate credential, not credentials, but
Contract.
Contract, yeah.
Yeah, it can be written in the contract or not. I think it was just from before.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
I think that's confusing as well. Yeah. Yeah.
So I motion to pass this with those 2 recommendations of that language stricken in item 3D to be brought back, and the items 5A and B striking the superintendent from both the supplements.
Second.
Board members.
Okay, thank you. I have a motion by Board Member Melendez and a second by Vice Chair Booth to pass this with the amendments, and I have a comment or question by Board Member Argüello.
Yeah, I actually had some comments, but I'd like to submit my comments or my recommendations in writing to the superintendent before we vote. So maybe if Mr. Melendez will pull his motion and you guys can give me 2 weeks, it'll put it on the next agenda for approval so that I can submit the recommendations that I just saw in some of the language and things that might be added.
Okay, This, Tammy, this new handbook, is this to be for next year? This is for next year, or is this to be implemented immediately?
The pay changes, if anybody was awarded one, would be July 1. We were going to open up a window of time for our current employees to verify additional experience, because that's the significant change in the salary handbook, is that it allows employees to bring in 10 years as opposed to 5. Remember, these are not things governed by, say, for example, the teacher's contract. These are our non-bargaining support level positions that are not covered elsewhere, that have been restricted to that 5-year piece. And that goes back, Mr. Melendez, to when you were on the board, when we originally did the salary handbook. It was like 2007, 2008. And if you remember then, we were in significant economic downturn. We didn't have the challenge of recruiting new staff. In fact, we were looking at ways to reduce staff without having to do layoffs. And so this was one of the ways to contain it. But obviously, times have changed drastically. We've not yet kept up with those changes, and that was something I think the board had asked us to really look at moving forward as part of our Goal 2 strategy. But it can wait, if we want to wait 2 weeks. Or
may I ask?
Mr. Arguello wants to bring forward his changes now, we can make notes and bring back the final version for the board to approve.
May I ask Board Member Melendez and Vice Chair, since you seconded, if Board Member Arguello wants to make changes, would we have access to those changes as well, so that we know? 1 and 2, instead of just tabling it, can we also add it to?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna send it to you, I send it to her, she can send it to you.
No,
guys,
yeah,
right?
of course, I just wanna make sure I get it, I don't know what's.
Yeah, can we amend it? Basically, if we pass this as is it an amendable document?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so we just pass it as it is right now, then Mr. Arguello submits his agreements and we look at
Not
it.
as is, we passed the motion
I mean,
that you put on the table.
well, yeah, I mean, pass it with the recommendation, modifications that I requested. And what I'm saying is that since it's not permanently set in stone for the entire year, Mr. Arguello then can present his ideas and we vote on each measure individually then.
We can just add it to unfinished business, would that be okay, to add
Instead
the?
of approving it tonight?
I think it's clear that way. If we just add it to unfinished business,
The maker in a second to withdraw.
Okay,
me personally.
okay, Madam Chair, I'll go with your wishes. I'll go ahead and rescind my motion and then I'll table the motion for next board meeting.
Motion to table, I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion to table and add to unfinished business by Board Member Melendez and a second by Board Member Arguello. Board, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign? Okay, thank you. We'll continue this conversation next time. Thank you. We'll pass on to item 1401. I had no one.
What else is it?
1601. Okay, so 1401, I'll entertain a motion.
We just.
No, what am I doing? It's confusing. I'm smart, I promise.
We have to do it all.
Yeah, now we're on the regular agenda. We
That's
have
why I was
1402.
confused. 1402.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by Board Member Melendez, second by Vice Chair Booth. Board, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, like sign? Thank you. And we will move on to 1501.
1511, motion approved, 1511.
Thank you. Motion to approve 1511 by Board Member Melendez, second by Board Member, Board Vice Chair Booth. Board, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign?
Aye.
Okay, so the motion passes 4-1. Did you have a comment on?
No.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So we will move on to 1601. I have 2 folks that hold it. The first one that I recorded was Board Member Arguello, and the second person was Vice Chair Booth. So I will start with Board Member Arguello's comments.
I'm sorry, which item? 1601?
1601.
Yes, 1601. I don't need to make commentary, but I will afford the opportunity that, I've only heard people speak in contrary to the change. I know that this creates some demands on the transportation team, but I think that the arguments that were made against were pretty compelling, and so I'm just voting against.
Okay, thank you. We have Board Member Booth, and I also saw Board Member Melendez and Superintendent, so I will go in order. Board Member Booth.
Can I ask if anyone here to speak on this item?
Oh, we do.
I think there were some after this will start times. some of the New Beginnings teams here.
Perfect. Thank you for bringing that.
That was basically my comment, Madam Chair, while you're waiting on that.
Just to have
Was
folks-
just, because I'm not opposed to the rest of the bell schedule, it's only the issue with the meetings. That's the part that's.
Okay.
And Madam Chair, my comment was only going to be to say that if the board wanted to consider this as a separate item, so the first piece, the 5-minute changes that are recommended for high schools, St. Cloud, Toho Elementary, Middle, and K-8s, and then vote separately on New Beginnings.
So I'll motion to separate New Beginnings from the other bell items and to approve the other bell changes.
Second.
So I have a motion to approve the item as submitted without the new beginnings, second by, motion by Mr. Arguello, second by Mr. Melendez. And we will not vote yet because we do have two folks, as much as I counted, I don't know if there's more than two, but I just have two folks with comments regarding this agenda item. So Patricia Matthews. Thank you.
Good evening, school board members. Patricia Matthews speaking on behalf of New Beginnings. And I have my friend Sal Dadia, who is also a tech at New Beginnings, and Gail, who is a K-1 teacher. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Pace very much for stopping by to meet with our staff to explain some of the reasons and some of the concerns facing the move. And we're here just to acknowledge that this is just a very bad idea to change the times. Everyone has been emailed our concerns. I will be happy to reiterate some of those here. To move the time an hour later, even Dr. Vogel spoke of the traffic in St. Cloud. I can't even imagine what that would do to move the hour 1 hour later, trying to get our students from Harmony and Hollapaw all the way from Poinciana, St. Cloud, and Westside K-8. As you know, we do serve every school in this county. We are not the school kids want to get sent to, but I fear that this move is going to encourage the students that are already borderline to go ahead and accept their expulsion and go ahead and drop out of school, therefore ending their education career. Right now, my data tells me we had 239 students as of January 12th. Today, at 5 o'clock, we had 319 students. These are kids that have been expelled from regular home schools. They are no longer welcome in that school. And we're trying our best to keep them in school and to set them on the right path. A lot of our students are socioeconomically disadvantaged. A lot of them work not for the pleasure of earning money to buy those new topsiders or whatever the shoes are, but they actually contribute a major portion of their income to their family's support. A lot of our students actually walk from the hotel in front of the school where they live. And those that are coming by bus, to have them get on a bus at 4:30 in the afternoon, God willing, the bus is their own time, they're not seeing their home until probably 6 or 6:30. That's assuming there's traffic not as bad as we anticipate in the coming year. I just want to stand firm with our belief that our teachers are here to support these students. We're here to give them every advantage, and I hope you will understand that on our behalf. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Is that?
Greetings to the board and Superintendent Pace. I am Edwin Rios, residing at 1142 Glen Cove Avenue, Palm Bay, Florida. For over a decade, I have traveled over an hour twice a day from Brevard to New Beginnings, driven by my unwavering conviction and commitment to our students. While at first glance the proposed schedule change may appear to be a minor adjustment, A closer examination reveals that it could have significant repercussions for both our students and teachers. For instance, some students rely on walking or being driven to work after school, and a delayed dismissal time could impede their ability to get to their jobs on time, resulting in a loss of wages and a potential impact on their well-being. In a similar vein, our staff hail from different areas of the county, drawn by their commitment to our students. These teachers have established deep-rooted relationships with these students, becoming a vital part of their support system. Teachers, both classrooms and non-classrooms, dean, hall monitors, paraprofessionals have all raised concerns about accommodating this time change. Implementing this change would penalize our New Beginnings staff, forcing them to rearrange their schedules, potentially disrupting their work and hampering the quality of education that our students receive. Numerous staff have noted that the proposed time change could make it challenging to balance their professional duties with their personal lives, and some have even expressed their inability to continue working at our school if the change were to be implemented. Therefore, as you decide over this proposal, let us not forget the value of our educators and the crucial role they play in our students' lives. Let us collaborate to find a solution that considers their concerns and ensure that they can continue to provide our students with the education that they rightfully deserve. Thank you.
Just to confirm, I only saw those two under agenda item 1601. Did we miss anyone? Okay, thank you. It sounds like we have a motion and a second to approve item 1601 as is, taking out the New Beginnings time change. Did I get that correct before? Okay, so, board, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, like sign? Thank you, thank you. Okay, so we do have the time for, board, for all public comments. I do have to apologize because as I was looking at these, some of you did have comments on some things that we already discussed. That's on me. I'm really sorry. I did not get these until later, so I apologize, but please come back and speak on those specific items.
Chair, point of order? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. But we still need to address in the beginnings. I mean, we separated it to
Oh, I
have a
thought we were
second.
just.
That's what I say. I
We
thought
still
I
have to say
understood
whether or
it
not
was
we're gonna
okay.
vote on it, approve it, or not approve it, or we're gonna bring it back to the beginning. I mean,
I'm
we
sorry.
separated, but we gotta do something with it.
The way I thought I said it was that we're gonna keep it as it is right now.
Yeah, I think that it fails if you don't do anything, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
There's
stays
no
as
motion,
it
it
is right
stays
now.
the way it is.
Oh, it just
That's what
stays.
I thought, did you?
That's correct. If there's no action by the board, it stays the way it is.
Yeah, I'll
You were
just
gonna
make it clear.
vote on it separately, so I just wanna make sure.
Oh, I apologize. I said
Okay.
separate it out and keep it as is.
Oh, okay.
That's my last comment. Thought
Okay, I
that's-
didn't hear that part.
Go ahead.
No worries at all. Glad we're all clear. Thank you. So let's go ahead and move on to the next comment. Again, I apologize if we had something else to speak on. I will try to get these before we get to this point, so I can keep track. Mr. Latour?
Lieutenant Colonel Latour, Air Force, United States Air Force retired. Happy to be here with you once again, and a little bit sad, I'll be honest with you, as this is my last time to stand before you as the Senior Aerospace Science Instructor for FL 921 at Osceola High School. It's been a distinguished privilege of mine to work with those young men and women. They've done an exceptional job. I'm honored to have the Cadet Colonel here with us tonight. She'll be speaking later, addressing some of the more relevant issues that they've been dealing with. But for me personally, I just wanted to thank you all. Dr. Pace, thank you, and your staff for giving me the opportunity to serve. I feel like I've got my 4-year degree in public education of Osceola County. I think I've learned a lot, and I'm looking forward to be back as a citizen of Osceola County, because I think there's things that we need to do to change the way we do business and make it more common sense application. I know it's radical change that's required in order to have radical change. If we keep working in the margins, you will not see radical change. But that's a scary place for a lot of people to go because we're so happy with commonplace. We're so happy with routine. But the routine that we're doing really isn't getting us, I think, where we as citizens want our school district to go, where we expect it to go, especially based on the $1.8 billion worth of taxpayer money that's coming into this program. So I am excited to be coming back later on, not in this uniform, but as in a suit and tie, to be able to address some of the issues that I've learned along the way. And hopefully it'll be beneficial, not only to you all, but for those folks out there, the 400,000 members of Osceola County that I don't think know everything that goes on behind the scenes. So thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. I look forward to seeing you again soon. When I finish my training, I'm going to be going off to fly in the airlines, so I'm excited about that. Pick up my career there, and look forward to bringing that expertise back to the young men and women in FL 921 as an OASIS-approved volunteer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have comments? Yes, I did.
Mr. Arguello, our board member.
Yeah, Colonel, I just wanted to congratulate you. You had the largest group of National Honor Society, JROTC students, I think in the history of the school and that program, so congratulations. Thank you for your hard work. You deserve a medal.
I would like to take credit, but I can't. That would be Cadet Colonel Rodriguez, who's the president of the Honor Society for Air Force Junior ROTC. We have to have a 3.2 GPA minimum, and under her leadership, her guidance, there's now 27 cadets out of the cadet corps, which is over 25% of the cadet corps, that are actually meeting that requirement. It's a very rigorous program requiring a lot of memorization. You have to go before a board. You have to do certain things. It's a strenuous and strict program, but the young men and women have attained that level. I'm excited about it.
Could I just, David, I've worked with you on some things. Thank you for all you did. And by the way, you clean up well.
Yeah, I kind of changed on. I think it would be appropriate when you say goodbye, you need to dress appropriately for farewell, not be in the utility uniform.
Jairelis Garcia Rodriguez.
It'd be nicer if it was green.
Yes, sir.
Go Navy.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cadet Colonel Jairelis Garcia Rodriguez. I am a senior at Osceola High School. I'm up here once again to talk about the many successes of our AFJROTC program, FL-921. One of our many accomplishments this year, which we started in the middle of summer, was our SMART goals. Every year we have to submit SMART goals for the year, and in April we have to submit our progress. So far, today is March 21st, we had two community goals, 2 goals for the school, and 3 in the Corps. For the core goals, we have the AFJROTC Military and Mentor Movie Night for one of them. Another one is to increase the core GPA average. And the last one was the physical training exercise challenges / homework, which will be done at home. 100% of that has been completed 2 months before the school year ends, which is an amazing accomplishment. For the school goals, we have advertising team, which is advertising our drill teams that consist of the saber team, the rifle team, the color guard team, the drill team, and the raid team to schools, and any elementary or middle school events, as well as like the choice fair. Another one is the awareness presentation team, which is something that we're starting up this year. It consists of cadets. It's 2 teams of 2. We had a meeting today and we were able to get 6 pairs, and every cadet has a category to present next week. That team allows the cadets to think, research, and analyze what they feel they need to bring awareness to, and something that they feel personally that they like to bring awareness to. In addition, in 19th of January, there was a recycling station, water bottle filling station installed in the building 12, the AFJROTC building at Osceola High School. And today, The number was checked, and so far we have 1,270 bottles that were able to be in a way saved from being thrown on the ground or in a trash can. And as Colonel mentioned, last night we had our Kitty Hawk Air Society induction ceremony. We had 15 pledges inducted, and they went through a serious 2 weeks, in a way, probation period. They have to memorize 7 different categories of memory and knowledge, as well as go through a board interview. They have to have 2 weeks of a folder stuck to their body. If at any given point that folder was away from their body, no longer touching them, that would result in obviously demerits, but all of them were able to successfully complete it. And last night we had one of the most amazing ceremonies, and I feel very proud in every single one of them. In addition, we have a Keep Boy Judge Green Clean this Saturday from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. So if you feel free, please come and join us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Great work there. Janet Moody.
Come on down.
Hello, Board. Dr. Pace, I wanted to tell you and Mrs. Booth, thank you so much for meeting with our ESE teachers that informed the committee. I got great positive feedback from that. They're looking forward to working with you guys and with the staff, so thank you for that. I am also here tonight to talk to you about my school, my home school, Narcoossee. We're the Bear Cubs. And we're a growing school, and I hear Mr. Melendez say all the time that we have 16 portables, but Mr. Melendez, we have 26 portables. And so I heard Ms. Blake say at one of the planning things that we're probably not going to lose all of those portables even when we open Sunbridge. And that hurts my heart because since COVID, our students only get outside recess every other day. So that means they're having to do inside recess. They're playing games, but that's not really the intent behind the law that was written, that they got recess. So I'm concerned about that because that's not going to change if we keep our campus that large. I'm also concerned because I have teachers that come to me and say, the portables were put in for a 2-year plan. So 16 of those portables have bathrooms, but they're not plumbed. So they have a bathroom, a gang bathroom. 3 boy toilets, 3 girl toilets. And so there's 500 kids that are using 6 commodes, and sometimes because they feed into a septic system, they're backed up, okay? And so I really think as a board, we need to have a conversation about our school, and we need to make some changes for our teachers. It takes me 7 minutes to walk a group of kids to one of the portables for outside, 7 minutes to get back. But the teachers who come in for our Bear Cub University, or III is what you guys know it as, they have to come in, come up the staircase, have students change for their classes, then go back down. So they're losing about 20 minutes each time they make those changes. So that's some of the things that I think that we need to consider as 1,550 kids is what we have on the campus right now. We gained 20-something this week. And we're not going to stop growing because the houses are multiplying like rabbits out there. So I hope that you guys will take a look at that and get back with us and help our kids, okay? So I appreciate that. And then the rest of my team is behind me all in red shirts, and they're going to talk to you. And Mr. Krumpenbacher, I did my best to honor you so that you would not yell at me for stepping over that contract line, okay?
Gail, no.
Wow. A day in the life of a teacher. Up at 6:30, at school by 7, got it set up. Great lessons today, by the way. We had a very good day today. Very productive, productive day. Not reproductive.
Only portables can reproduce.
Probably 27 years ago, I decided that I needed to do something with my life, and I was a single parent. And I thought, you know what? I worked in a hospital at the time, and I used to train all the nurses on the computer, and they said, "You're really good, you should teach." And I thought, well, I love little kids, so why not? So I went to UCF, and I did look into it, research, how much do they make, and we had steps at that time. So when I was hired, I thought that I was going to get those steps that you get at year one, or step 1, step 2, so on and so forth. Well, those were done away with. So I'm probably, I don't know, some of you guys might help me, maybe $6,000 under where I thought I was going to be by this time in my career. I don't even know what to say, except that I wish someone could tell me why you've decided to kick us in the teeth, in my opinion, and give us a $1,000 bonus. What am I going to do with that? It's going to get taxed to death, and it doesn't go toward my retirement. How much is $1,000 going to help me? It'll help me for a couple months, maybe? I mean, I used to tutor. I can't do that anymore. I'm 58 years old. I want to give to my classroom. I want to be able to go in and get my fraction strips out and get everything set up for my activity on, what did we do today? I'm kind of nervous. On the properties of matter and get all that done. If I'm tutoring, I'm too tired and I go in at 7:30, 7:45. No. I can't do it. I can't give full to my job and tutor and try to make a living and work 14 jobs. So now I'm doing that civics class, which actually is kind of fun, but it's really hard. It takes a lot of work. So either way, I'm working and I'm working and I'm working and I'm working and still struggling. I don't know how some of you sleep at night. How do you sleep at night knowing that a lot of us teachers, and it's not like I'm a brand new teacher. I've been teaching 23 years. I shouldn't be struggling this much anymore. How do you sleep at night knowing that and offering us $1,000? That is a kick in the teeth. And then to do it a second time. What in the world? It isn't your money. It's really the taxpayers' money. The public is watching this. Everybody that votes is going to see what their particular representatives are doing, insulting us by making us wait. I'm dead tired. And I got to go home and do that class, and then I got to get up and be at school early to make sure I have everything ready for the day, ready for my kids.
Ms. Hill, thank you for your comments.
So, I don't know. I don't know the answer. This is disgusting.
Rick Brewer?
He wants to pass.
Okay, thank you. Colleen Schmidt?
Good evening. I just wanted to say thank you to the district, the board, the superintendent, for your support of the arts, especially in this month, and the beautiful performances we saw earlier. Also, as the Part and Settlement art teacher, out in the display case, I have a display of my students' artwork for you to see and see the talent that we have even at the young age in elementary school. And I did also want to mention about my concern and worry about us losing more teachers. We have a lot of great teachers, and as a new rep working with those teachers when we were voting on the last contract, I heard a lot of frustration from them, a lot of despair and anger, some of what you probably hear as well. And I'm just really concerned for our students and losing more of those teachers in the coming years if we don't really have a solid offer to keep those teachers here in the district. The $1,000 one-time bonus, as has been mentioned, is taxed higher, and it doesn't go as it's a one-time thing. It doesn't help us with retirement, none of those things. And as previous person mentioned, when we used to have the step system, we got into teaching and we saw a pathway that we were going to go down. And what now teachers are facing is an uncertain future. and that's why a lot of people are turning away from it. So I just hope that we can really get a better deal on the table so that we can keep these. We have so many great teachers, we really do. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. May. Fred Marrow.
Go Navy.
Good evening, board members. I'm
Hey, Ms.
Lieutenant
Cornell.
Commander Fred Morrow, United States Navy, retired. I'm probably the only person in here that was drafted during the Vietnam era. 23 years, 24 and a half. 23 years at Cypress Peak as the senior naval science instructor there. Almost 5 years here at Toho as the senior naval science instructor. And my wife said to me, we've been married almost 55 years. She says, they only give you 3 minutes. You can't even talk for 3 minutes. You don't even take a breath in the first 3 minutes. So write it down, say it, and get off the podium. So that's what I'm going to do. I would like to say thank you to the board. I'm delinquent in being here, by the way. I'd like to say thank you to the board. Special thanks to Dr. Pace, Dr. Evans, and all the staff, Ryan Adams, the recently retired Deborah Williams. All of those people helped make this unit what it was. The board had to fund it for the first 2.5 years. And we're now a full JROTC unit. We receive all our funding from the Navy. So I'm here tonight to address a topic before you concerning the staff calendars. If you look at the staff calendars for the guidance directors and the NJROTC instructors, you will see that we are not paid for the spring break because we get 4 weeks of unpaid time, and we have an 11-month contract. So one of the weeks is unpaid as spring break, the other 3 are in the summer. I would like to recommend that someone review that calendar and make it paid for the spring break and back it up when we, in our start off, so that we get 4 weeks straight of vacation instead of 3. But thank you for all that you've done for this unit. You heard Colonel Latour and Cadet Colonel Rodriguez talk about what we do. I don't know if you've noticed, but we are the only major after-school organization, and we work from August to May after school, producing those quality cadets. And we're the only after-school event or after-school team that does not receive a supplement like band directors and so forth. So I'd like to throw that out there for discussion. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Greg Garris.
Good evening, I'm Greg Garris, a 7th grade early U.S. history teacher at St. Cloud Middle, and I'm also the treasurer of OCEA. I am a firm believer that to retain professional educators, including our support professionals, you need to show respect. Respect for any employee really comes down to 2 things: compensation and working conditions, and those have to be balanced in order to have people feel respected. So unfortunately, the employees represented by OCEA are currently being targeted and marginalized by our state government. So I gotta ask, if the bullies in Tallahassee are beating up on your employees, what are we as a district doing to try to ease their burden? Has the district prioritized our hard-working employees, those that are affected the most by the educator shortage, by negotiating in a speedy process? Our negotiating teams don't seem to be getting any traction these days and resolving the pay issues. This means that we cannot hire and retain the best possible employees to service our students and our families. Has the district been fiscally responsible and allocated funds properly, allocating a significant amount to permanently raise staff salaries? Have we gotten a clear answer about the issue that was raised at the last board meeting? These shortages make the burden for those employees that continue to work hard and harder every day. Meanwhile, our employees are suffering. The last board meeting, one of our top performing teachers spoke to the board and our leadership about how she could no longer afford to teach here in Osceola County. I have a good friend, second year in the district, worried that she can put food on her table for her older son and her 2 young twins. There are evenings that she has to split a hot dog between the 2 twins. I know of ESPs that also trade information on where the best options are for food banks in the county. These examples are tragic. All while the district seems to drag the negotiating process, hoping that if they wait long enough, that the teachers and the paras are just going to tire and the issue will be resolved. And why would they be tired? Because with COVID protocols, I lost 15 minutes every single day of our contracted day without having students. That adds up to 75 minutes per week. That's 10 hours in a 9-week period that I lost of planning. And then you guys took our workday. When was I supposed to get that done? Thank you.
Diane Knight.
Hi, I'm Diane Knight, 1990 Mustang Court, St. Cloud. I just wanted to speak out and say how honored I was to participate in the superintendent selection at St. Cloud High School. I feel like our concerns, what we wanted to keep, all of those things were recorded very accurately when I looked on the website. And I hope that this process will continue on a positive note and that the honesty that Dr. Vogt has given the team that he was working with at the high school, plus you all continues. That's it.
Jennifer Kennup. Please correct me.
Hello.
Kennup?
I was really here to speak on 2 different issues today. I was here to speak on security issues 9.02 and also under public comment. So I would like to be able to speak on both if that was okay.
Yes, you can. Still 3 minutes. Can you stop the clock for a second, please? Just in the future, make sure you put it on here. Which item?
Huh?
Just in the future, put it on here.
Oh, I did. I filled out 2 separate forms.
Oh, you have 2 separate ones. I have an MBA in everything.
It's okay.
I know. Go ahead.
So which one would you like me to address
The
first?
one that I have here is just nothing.
Okay.
Whatever the general one was.
Okay, so first of all, I think I'm going to start with the security issue topic because I am a little bit appalled as to how this district is handling security matters. On March 7th, there was a threat of a gun being on campus at Gateway High School. The gun was called, supposedly a teacher reported it, from the sidewalk as the students were walking from the 7-Eleven into Gateway. The 4 students were allowed to walk onto campus. They sat in the courtyard for approximately 10 minutes without an SRO addressing them. And when they did, 1 student only was searched. The other 2 of them were videotaping, and a 3rd was able to sneak away and go to class, supposedly. I got to that school 10 minutes after. There was no lockdown in place. There was no level of high alert at all within the school. There are 2 officers at the school, Officer Fowler and Officer Eddy. One was handling a little fender bender in the parking lot, and the other one was in a meeting with a parent and some school administrators for approximately 30 to 45 minutes, at which time the meeting concluded when he stated that the gun was still somewhere on campus and he really should be doing his job looking for that gun. This is huge to me. There was no report done with the state. I did look up the public report that afternoon, and it was not there. I contacted Dr. Pace the following day. She was unaware of the situation until I emailed her. I have about 12 email message correspondence here that I printed out and I would like to submit. I also did pull out the police report of the fender bender in the parking lot. So ironically, a report was done about the little incident in the parking lot, but not about the gun threat that was occurring at the school. So I know we were supposed to discuss security issues, and I'm just really concerned that our district is being left in such tremendous neglect when it comes to that. When I spoke to Dr. Pace, she did tell me that, yes, she didn't disagree with me that a report should have been written and that she just feels that our district needs a little bit more training. And that's kind of sad in this day and age. So that was my point on that. And as far as the public comments.
One second,
Oh.
Jennifer, if you don't mind. Dr. Pace, could you follow up with us with regards to the investigation onto how that was handled, please?
Happy to do so.
Thank you so
We're
much.
scheduled to meet on Monday to go over all of the information with them.
Okay.
I'm happy to reschedule that if you'd like.
Thank you so much. Your next item?
Okay, and the other topic was that I wanted you to know that I have privy to this information because one of those 4 boys happened to be my son. Obviously, my son did not have anything in his possession. He was the only student that was searched. I feel that the SROs at that school used excessive force on that child. They pulled a taser out on him. They threw him against the wall, threw him on the floor, smashed his head into the ground. I do have a video which I am publicly going to put on social media this evening. And I believe that this is due to an incident that had occurred a couple of weeks before at the Osceola County Fair, where my son and I were both assaulted by Osceola County Police. And they continued to harass my son at the school on the 21st when he returned to school, teasing him about the events that occurred at the fair on Saturday, which have nothing to do with school. And then a week later, this happened to him at the school where they threw him on the ground. And I just think they're trying to continue to harass my son. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Okay. Is there any way that I can give you guys these?
You can give it to Tanya. I think one of the board members has a question for you, Jennifer. Mr. Board Member Aguayo.
Did you have a question for me?
Yes, I'm just trying to follow these events essentially.
Okay.
So, at some unrelated event to the school district,
Yes, sir.
your son had an incident with police.
Yes,
You said Osceola County Police. Was it the sheriff's office or the police department?
the sheriff's office.
Okay, so the Osceola County Sheriff's Office had some interaction with your son
Yes, and myself.
and you.
Mhm.
And then a time later, on campus, they had another incident with your son
Yes, a week and a half later.
a week and a half later.
Mhm.
And
Well,
how,
actually, 3 days later is when he went back to school. He didn't go to school that Monday, but he did attend school on Tuesday. And they approached my son for no reason and started taunting him, saying, "Oh, we know what happened at the fair. You want to tell us what happened at the fair?" And they kept following him around all day, questioning him about the incidents at the fair, which
and this is a different sheriff's office, a different deputy,
these were the same 2 deputies.
that you had the interaction at the fair.
Yes, sir. Oh, no, well, one of them was at the fair, but the same 2 deputies that taunted him and everything that day were also the same 2 officers that tackled him and threw him against the wall at the school on the 7th,
Which school is this?
Gateway.
Was this one of our SROs?
Yes,
Okay, so
Officer Eddie.
this happened something happened at the fair, it went at school, they were taunting your son, then someone called in a gun threat
right,
at the school.
right. An alleged teacher, Dr. Pace would not give me any access to be able to meet with said teacher, but She did say that some alleged teacher called and said that 4 students were seen with a gun in their waistband entering the school.
And the school was put on shutdown or
No.
was not put on?
No lockdown at all. And I was there for over an hour.
With the sheriff's deputies?
Yes,
that were
sir, he
looking
was
for
in
the
a
gun?
room with me. And the other one, as you can see from that report, it happened at the same time, was in the parking lot dealing with a fender bender. I printed out.
While there was a gun on campus?
While there was a supposed gun threat on campus, yes.
Okay, so you're aware of this event?
I am aware of the incident, and there is, as I said, I was supposed to meet with her on Monday at the school with Mr. Long to review the statements, and she decided to cancel the meeting. But I'm happy to do so again if she would like more.
Was there assessor incident filed?
There was not.
I don't know if there was a assessor incident filed because there was not a gun on campus, but I believe there probably was because of the other situations that occurred during that particular moment. There was an incident report made.
Okay. Thank you very much for answering my question.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Ruth Nelson?
Ruth Nelson, 26-year teacher here in Osceola County and resident of Osceola County. Back in the late 90s and early 2000s, I can remember the great benefit of being a teacher. 3 months off to recuperate. Take vacations, have free time, spend with family, actual time to enjoy life. Man, back then, I could also remember a bunch of teachers coming to work as a teacher by day and being able to go home and be a mom at night. Have your family. They didn't have to balance teaching all day, caring for my son, and holding a second job. Man, those days are gone. Anybody wonder why? Because the Osceola County School Board and the district is not willing to give their employees a cost of living raise that is so well deserved and warranted. Prices on everything in life continue to rise, from gas to eggs to homeowners insurance, heck, even the price of clothing. There are many teachers in the district who would love to be able to afford a new pair of shoes or even a cute new outfit. Instead, we don't take care of our own needs, as we now have to do what it takes to keep our kids clothed and fed, house payments and rent paid, and gas in the car. God forbid we run out of gas and can't make it to work. Then we join the over 200 teachers that we have vacancies for every day. People don't become teachers for the income. It's always been about the outcome. But lately in Osceola County, the outcome isn't even good enough for teachers anymore. Those once that were young, motivated teachers to have fun and be that fun teacher have turned into the mean and demanding teachers. Yep, that's what they call me. This is because teachers don't have time to plan quote-unquote fun activities. We're spending our hours at our second job, being overtired, overstressed, and we're supposed to be taking care of ourselves. But without our part-time jobs, we wouldn't have a place to live, food to eat, or appropriate clothes to wear. This 6.5% cost of living that we've asked for and a $2,000 stipend to be smacked in the face with $1,000, to hear that we're willing to spend over $14,000 to go out of country to get teachers, and we want to raise our insurance premium. So really, you're telling all of your employees that you're decreasing our salaries for next year. Let me talk about insurance on another day. I know I'm running out of time, but there's nothing like trying to drive to Pensacola when your son gets injured and needs to have surgery to get a call halfway there saying, "Mom, it's been postponed from Friday morning till Monday because our insurance won't allow it." This sucks. Like they stated, I hope you guys find some compassion to realize that the outflow of teachers after this school year is going to be higher than your inflow. You guys need to do something. So when are you going to have your actions meet your words that you value your employees? Because on a daily basis, we don't feel valued. And I know my 3 minutes is up.
Mitchell Starks and Salma Oanaki. And if you are students, please do not state your address.
All right. Hello, my name is Mitchell Starks. I'm a senior at Celebration High School. I'm in the IB program.
Yeah, my name is Salma. I'm also a senior at Celebration High School, and I'm also in the IB program.
And so it was brought to our attention recently that that the school board might not approve an early release for us for the school year to have time to study for our exams that are coming up. And I know I have 6 IB International Baccalaureate exams I have to study for. And
Yeah, I think I have 6 too, but each one is like, each one of them is almost 3 papers, and they occur over different days, spanning from May 3rd to May 18th.
Yep. And so we think it's really important for us and our classmates to have time to prepare for these exams because, for example, for my biology class, I've taken this class for 3 years, so I really want to have time to review all 3 years worth of materials so that I can do my best on my class, on my exam, because it'll help me with getting college credit at school and other things. And I know if we have to stay in school to a certain date, that our teachers will try to help us review. But some kids are better in other areas of the class than other people. So I would really like to have time to study in the comfort of my own home, or if I choose to go to the library and focus on what I need to focus on.
Yeah, I agree with that because like each of us has our own strengths and weaknesses, especially in different classes. Like what class I feel I need to study more for, I feel like I can spend my time doing that rather than focusing on a class that I already feel confident in. And I feel like I can do that more comfortably in my home, on my own time, where I don't have to wake up early for school or anything like that, because it removes the stress. And also with having school when we're having exams, I feel like it's a more stressful environment. Like if I'm going from class to taking an exam, obviously I'm going to be worried about it, but if I'm going from my house to take an exam, I feel like I'll be more relaxed and prepared and feel more confident in my ability.
Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you. Just 1 second. Moment of privilege. Dr. Pace, can you follow up with the situation?
I've already asked Dr. Evans to follow up.
Great. And then Mrs. Starks, I will follow up with you once I get Dr. Pace's answer on that. I have Mr. Melendez and Mr.
No, that was
Arguello.
it.
Oh, Mr. Melendez, thank you, Mr. Board Member Arguello.
That's not a board directive, right? I thought that it said that this was a board issue, but I don't think that that's something that we voted on, right?
No.
That's a school issue, right?
We need to find out what's going on.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Alex Sadowski?
Good evening. My name is Alex Sadowski, and I've been teaching in the district now for 12 years. I currently teach 6th grade Earth and Space Science, but I've taught all grades K through 6 here in the county. I live in Lake Nona in Orange County. I drive over 50 miles a day and pay roughly $120 a month in tolls. Thank God for the recent toll relief credit. But I do this because I love working in Osceola County. Every school I've worked at, Flora Ridge, Pleasant Hill, and Canoe Creek, has been my home away from home. My colleagues are the most genuine and selfless people I've ever met, and I've had the chance to work for some of the most amazing administrative teams, including my current administrators who hired me last spring and saw something in me I didn't know I was capable of, teaching middle school. And I'm good at it. I'm an amazing teacher and entertainer. My students learn and have fun doing so. However, I am now exploring the possibility of taking my talent to Orange County. I currently pay $195 a paycheck, $390 a month for insurance for myself and my 2 daughters. If the proposed changes to insurance go through, I will be paying $275 a paycheck, $550 a month, roughly an increase of $1,600 compared to what it is now. I cannot afford this, and this alone is pushing me out the door after 12 years. I can easily, because I'm good at what I do, get a job at the elementary or middle school in my community. I will start off with a higher base salary than what I have now and actually keep much of it in my pocket because Orange County offers great insurance. I would be paying $35 a paycheck, $70 a month for insurance for myself and my daughters. And that is Cigna, meaning I could go pretty much anywhere and see pretty much any doctor I want and not have to play the SDOC insurance games. With no real pay increase on the horizon and increased insurance costs, my overall salary will drop next year. It will drop. I will be taking a pay cut if I stay in this county. This is simply not acceptable, and unfortunately, it looks like I will have to leave Osceola County. Also, just on a side note, if you pay us well, you wouldn't have to contract with a company to find teachers. We are right here, and I'll take a piece of that
Thank you. Dylan Rainsell, or Rainsell? I said it right the first time?
You're good.
Look at me doubting myself.
Been dealing with my whole life.
You called him Ryan 2 meetings ago.
Yeah, you got my first
I
name.
did call you Ryan.
Yeah.
I apologize.
I forgive you.
You got him.
Okay, good evening. My name is Dylan Rensel, and I live in St. Cloud, and I teach at St. Cloud High School. And tonight I would like to talk about how teachers and ESPs fill in the gaps. We all contribute to the collective effort of making the school district function, and part of that process is management creating policies, enacting procedures, making curriculum frameworks, allocating dollars in the budget, and countless other responsibilities. So I will admit these are not easy tasks for a district of over 70,000 students and 8,500 employees. But that is partly why the public comment section of these meetings exists. Because when enacting and making policies and allocating resources from the top, you need people who are on the ground to tell you how it's going. So what I'm here to tell you is that this district would not function without our teachers and ESPs filling in the gaps. When the teachers are expected to teach the cups, especially at the primary level, and the materials that are listed in the lesson are not provided by the district or the school, teachers fill in the gaps. When a teacher is out sick, but there is no substitute, so other teachers take on more students by covering during their planning, or auto-splitting classes without any additional compensation, teachers fill in the gaps. When the district needs to hit a compliance target for a mental health training and offers those trainings on a Saturday at less than half of what the teacher's daily pay rate is, teachers are expected to fill in the gaps. When a one-on-one ESC paraprofessional doesn't get their 30-minute duty-free lunch because there's no one there to fill in for them, ESPs fill in the gaps. So the point is that there are countless examples of teachers and support staff filling in the gaps, and most of the time doing so without any additional compensation. Now, most of our teachers and staff are courteous, compassionate, hardworking people, but they are grossly taken advantage of. So the last gap I want to point to is the gap between what teachers and staff are worth and what they are actually paid. Now, management has been given an offer from the bargaining unit that is financially feasible for the district and would give this board and the superintendent the opportunity to begin to fill that gap for the people who fill in all the gaps for this district every single day. So I encourage you to begin filling in the financial gap for our teachers and staff, or you might find that we do not have enough of them left to keep filling in the gaps for you.
Heidi Patterson, Goincochea?
Good job. Goinkachea. I'm going to take Patterson off next time.
No.
Just kidding. All right. Heidi Patterson, Goinkachea. I live in St. Cloud. I teach at St. Cloud High School. I'm an English teacher. I would like to address school board members. At the last meeting, you were presented with some budget information. Emily was wrongfully silenced and unable to speak about what was on that form. But as Dylan later shared, it revealed years of irresponsible over-budgeting and underspending. Millions of dollars hidden in plain sight that, per legal advisement, is not all categorical. In fact, the district has not even spent the categorical funds in the past 5 years on materials and supplies. So just in these past 5 years, there has been $186 million available that could have been moved to other instructional categories, such as salaries, to help alleviate the teacher shortage. This is public information that was pulled straight from the annual financial report on the DOE site and presented at the bargaining meeting. I reviewed the BLT minutes, and it states that OCEA was thanked for thinking creatively and that the information would be shared with the district's leadership team. My hope is that this has been not only shared with the district team, but also with you, school board members, as the budget decisions are ultimately in your hands. Now is the time for the district and the school board to show that you care about teachers. You care that they are working 2 jobs, struggling to service their vehicles, pay their rent, and even feed their families. To show that you care about teachers leaving for better paying jobs or higher paying counties. To show that you care about the students of Osceola County by ensuring that they have qualified teachers. The district needs to live up to its slogan, every child, every chance, every day, as I've stated before, means having a teacher for every child in every classroom every day. District and board members, you have the solution. You have the recurring money to give teachers a cost of living adjustment and make this county a place where students can thrive. So make the right choice. Allocate funds where you will see the most return. After all, teachers and ESPs are the ones who have the most direct contact with students and are most responsible for their success in school. You've heard several teachers share their hardships. You've received countless emails, I know you have. You've seen the petition. So now is the time to act. Don't let another 5 years and $186 million go by without addressing this dire situation. Show that you care about students and teachers. Thank you.
Thank you. Zahaira Peña Andino.
Good evening, Zaida Peña Andino, St. Cloud, Florida. I am a proud educator of Osceola County for 22 years, and I have been able to grow in this county, and I will thank for my administrators to give me the opportunity to do this growth throughout these years and believing in me. So, as Heidi was saying, every child, every chance, every day. Boy, oh boy, that's music to my ears. But the truth is that education is a village, and this village is under duress. Classrooms are under fire. Teachers are continuously overworked and underpaid, but this is nothing new to you. According to the annual financial report that school district presented to the state of Florida, $71.1 million have been allocated for materials and supply, and you will only spend maybe 10% of it. So, you know you have a fiscal responsibility to appropriately utilize this money. So let me give you some ideas. Cost of living adjustment for all educators and paraprofessionals. According to Dr. Pace's message in the school board website, we need high quality educations. And like Heidi said a few minutes ago, that means in every classroom. And for that, we need a competitive salary. And you will continue losing great educators to Orange County. Number 2, how is it possible that such a hefty budget is sad to hear that some schools are in red, struggling to get copy paper, cleaning supplies, to hear the custodian say, hey, watch out with the paper towels because we have no more for the rest of the year. Trash bags. We have a tiny budget for schools that are continuously growing, but that budget for custodians is not growing. And lastly, insurance proposals are looking less than promising. Soon, some of your employees will have to make a choice. Do we continue paying a less than satisfactory insurance plan, or do we put food in our pantries? Because those paychecks are getting smaller by the minute. A few weeks ago, I had this conversation, very interesting. And we could say that about 50% of the school employees have kids in the school district. they're in our schools. So if you care for every child, like our motto says, then you need to start caring for their parents, your employees. Because how you treat them, it directly affects those kids. But by not approving this cost of living adjustment, you are depriving those kids of having a quality life in their households with their parents. Have a beautiful night.
Albert Mendoza.
I think that's the gentleman that said he had to leave to pick up his child.
Thank you. Emily Gorentz.
Hi, good evening, board. I wanted to start out on a positive note. I am actually feeling pretty optimistic. I was able to connect with quite a few of you over lobbying in Tallahassee, and it was so wonderful to finally feel like we're playing on the same team. Like, we have common interest, we have a way to speak out, we have, our district at the heart of what we're doing. And I think tonight, seeing the response to the New Beginnings situation also, again, felt we're playing on the same team. We've understood that our staff has come together, our students have come together, we've brought a concern, it was heard. So it's like, yes, we're finally making progress. And so that also brings me to, what do we still need? We brought concerns about the ESE committee, we got the ESE committee. You're listening, we appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. The big concern you're hearing tonight is salary. Remember, your instructional staff takes home around $3,000 a month. Rent in this area, or mortgages in this area, are around $2,000 a month. So you're leaving people to have $1,000 a month of wiggle room to raise a family on. And like Z said, those are our kids in our schools that are part of those families that we're trying to survive on $1,000 a month. And our ESPs make significantly less than that. So we really need to address the elephant in the room, which is the materials and supplies line item. Your AFR has it as $4 million last year. It is budgeted this year as $71.1 million. We need to talk about why that is. Thank you.
Luis Rivera. I know, I saw him.
All right, I'm not Navy or Air Force, Army, but I don't know if that makes anything. Cool. Rivera, Point Place Avenue in Kissimmee, Florida. Our last meeting lasted nearly 6 hours and many people left after 8. This is an indication that the open comment should be moved to the middle or the beginning of the meeting. I'm requesting the board to put on the agenda to allow teachers and parents to vote and speak on the time which you have public comment. Leaders put their people first. Some of you sound like you want to eat before your leadership. Stop making decisions based on personal preferences. You drew up a survey for the next superintendent, but you didn't do one for public speaking for that option. The last survey that I heard about didn't go into depth about current events. I'm also requesting to put on the agenda a year-end survey for teachers, students, and parents that include how they feel about COVID-19, rules, transportation, mental health, SROs, district administrators, and pay. You can hire the Mary Poppins of superintendents. It doesn't matter unless you bring something major to the table. If you have to ask the community what does the next superintendent need to bring to the table, then you haven't been listening to us and public comments. Bring back the old school way of running things. When I was in school, we didn't ask our students, we taught them and told them to turn your books to page so-and-so, not pretty please. I'm also requesting the board to put on the agenda a letter to go out to everyone that will spark a positive change. A letter telling all, that's it, on such and such date, we're going to move in a positive direction. Think of a clever hashtag. Hashtag moving forward, hashtag make the correction, have the teachers back. You need to tell and show that you have the teachers back. Tell the parents they need to have a talk with their kids, talk to their kids about teachers being in charge, listen and respect them. But you have to have their back. Grant the powers back to the adults, all adults. Send that letter out home and have the parent's signature and student sign. You guys do it for field trips and a bunch of other nonsense stuff. Do it for something important. Make it known to other counties, states, that we mean business. Teachers are scared, not respected, and why there's an increase of verbal and physical assaults. Case in point, everybody knows about the teacher's aide that got assaulted in Florida. If it violates a student code of conduct, make the correction. If a student is running down the hall, parents yell, walk. If a student is cursing, not wearing a seatbelt, texting and driving, a parent is smoking in the parking lot, SRO and parent, make the correction. Why can an athlete yell, oh shit, in a sporting event and not get in trouble for that? Same thing if he says it in the crowd. Why? Because his parents are there. Encourage teachers to wear the ID proudly, but you have to have their back. You don't have their back, what's the point? No respect among students in themselves. Ocean County, New Jersey, 14-year-old bullied, commits suicide. In Virginia, 7th grader choked another student. In Kentucky, 4 middle school kids beat up a teacher with hockey sticks. In Delaware, middle school attack written on the whiteboard and carried out on special needs. In Miami, 15-year-old boy attacked a small 9-year-old girl. Thank you.
Rivera. Claire Allen.
Larry Allen, 722 Mabbitt. I had no plans to speak tonight, and let's just start off by saying I'm kind of optimistic because I appreciate what you did for New Beginnings. You know, it's though you have to take care of your people, and those people are a special kind of people to deal with that population of students. You heard about people driving from outside of the county just to take care of those kids. So I appreciate you listening to what was being said, making accommodations so we can retain more teachers. You took a step in the right direction tonight. I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but it seems to me that you tend to stay at a job either because of the money or the working conditions. And for years, you've seen us parade here and tell you about all the working conditions. Sometimes it's salary. It's not always about the money. It's about respecting the profession. A lot of these teachers, teaching is my second career, but a lot of these educators, that's all they dreamed of since they were playing with dolls. They wanted to be an educator. They wanted to teach somebody. They work on their craft every day. You have to do something to take care of these people. The optics don't look so great. I nothing against the international teachers. You know, great. They want to be part of the core. That's fine. You know, come teach our kids because they need all the help they can get. You know, we want them to be better than we were, to surpass us at everything. Better humans, smarter, healthier. We want all that. That's at least what I want from my kids. So nothing against the international teachers, but did you look at the optics? You're willing to pay a premium for these people to come here and teach, but you're not willing to take care of the ones that are already here. This is my 31st year, and I gotta tell you, that retirement is not all it was cracked up to be. It's about $2,500 a month for me. That's not a lot. So when you propose a one-time bonus, you're not taking care of your people. The buck stops with you. You got to do something.
Mark Peters.
Good evening, Mark Peters. Good evening, board. Good evening, Dr. Pace, Kissimmee, Florida. It's been a while. I've been here since we have 2 new board members, but welcome. Just to say right off the back, have you guys ever looked at YouTube, this meeting here on YouTube? You guys cannot be seen. I've looked at other meetings in the district. You guys sit in the shadows, and pretty much that's how you govern, in the shadows. That's why these guys can say the same thing. You sit in the shadows. We can't even see you guys on YouTube. There are people at home having a hard time. I've said this over and over. But look, you can see everyone here clearly. There's no way they can hide, but it seems like you guys want to hide in the shadows. You know, I've been speaking to a lot of teachers, Gateway and other schools, and it's so shameful to hear. You know, I live in District 3. Gateway is not in District 3, but Gateway is right down the street from you guys. I mean, literally a stone throw away. And they said they can use toilet paper. They don't have. I don't understand why simple things like that, you know, but there are schools in other districts. If they sneeze, you guys ship over a crate of tissue paper. But there are other schools who are desperately screaming what they need. You guys are not giving it to them. Our teachers are here every week telling you how they feel, and you guys, it seems like it falls on deaf ears. We're the parents. Let me tell you something. The customers are not always right. We're the parents and the customers for this. We've hired all of you guys, so the teachers. If you guys are not doing your job, then you get replaced, right? But if you don't have teachers to teach our students, we're gonna come in here with eggs, but eggs are too expensive, so we're not gonna do that. But you guys need to do something to retain our teachers. This is unheard of that they have to come in here and grovel and cry. You know, I'm a property manager, and one of the homes have a single parent teacher. She teaches one of the schools down in Point Siena. And the landlord has been very helpful to her and keep the rent low. But his expense of going up with insurance and everything else. So he's getting ready to raise it this month coming in April. And she's already crying because she said she don't know where she's gonna go. She can't afford the increase. And that's where everyone is speaking of here. They can afford the increase of their life necessities, and that is a shelter over their family. And you guys can do something about it, but you're not. You need more parents to come out and say that take our tax dollars and give it to these teachers? Is that what you guys need us to come and say? Do your job. That's what you've been hired to do, to retain our teachers. Let me tell you something. This is hard to listen to, and even the ones at home. We cry when we see our teachers are crying because they're the ones administering the special need that our students need, the special touch they're giving. Please, you guys do something and do it fast. We need our teachers.
Board Member Melendez?
I apologize, Chairwoman Castillo, but this came from the audience at a special request. A few teachers asked if we could please give well wishes to the juniors and seniors who will be taking the SAT tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Really working hard to achieve that concordance score. I know they've been working super hard on the Khan Academy. We've been monitoring that carefully. So thank you to teachers for recognizing that hard work. We do want them to do well.
Good luck.
And I apologize for the interruption.
No problem.
Madam Chair, just two issues real quick. One of them, Ms. Moody had mentioned me, when I kept saying 16 portables was a lot, it's actually 20-something portables. What is our number? What is our number? Because that, at some point, that portable has to be converted into like a building. You know what I mean? It's like, it's gotta get redistricted out, or like, do we have like a policy, a school board policy to say what is an acceptable? I mean, I don't think anybody should be in a portable, but sometimes it's supposed to be temporary. But when it's that big, that for that long, when does the district do an analysis to put something permanent?
Dr. Reed? That is why we said that Rome Bridge, in addition to the Sunbridge School, is more critical than Kindred at this moment because of the growth on that particular side. And keep in mind that we still have 2 school sites that Academica is holding on to on Jack Brack that have been supposed to open for the last couple of years that were pushed out. So because of the empty charter seats, we delayed in adding another program, but we now have those on the books. So that's why those are on the books.
Right, and then the other thing, and this one's, it could be maybe a little premature, I don't want to get into like collective bargaining. I keep hearing a lot of comparison to Orange County. Well, Orange County has also the property tax, right? They have the extra millage assigned to that. Is that something that the school board has to bring on in order to get on the ballot? Is that something that we have to look at doing? What's the method for doing that as a possibility?
You would have to ask, you have to ask the county to put it on the ballot. as I understand, and I'll bring back at the next board meeting the exact steps.
I'm interested in that conversation as well, because we are compared to a lot of other counties, but a lot of other counties have extra funding that we don't, and I want us to be equal. So sounds like we might be ready to have a different conversation.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Board Member Arguello?
Oh, my goodness. So, I'm not even sure how to react to that. Increasing our millage is not the answer. Rewriting our budget, prioritizing the teachers is the answer. I'm not sure why, this is nuts. No matter how much we increase the taxes, if the prioritization of our budget is not correct, they're never gonna get made whole. It's never gonna happen. We're gonna carry on the same problem over and over and over again. What we need to do is sit down and have a real hard discussion about reprioritizing our budget. We talked about it tonight, the contracts this is incredible. There's no way to avoid it. We have to go back to the drawing board on our budget, put the teachers first, where we want them to be, and let everything else fall on top of there. And whatever cannot be fit is not a priority of the district. Unless we make that philosophical change, we're gonna increase the taxes. It doesn't sound like we're trusted very much with the taxes that we have. We already have the highest sales tax in the entire county. We're gonna increase our millage now? You have teachers, if you're talking about housing pricing, and we're gonna increase their housing prices by increasing the taxes? Come on, why is it so hard just to say, listen, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna rewrite our budget and put the teachers first where we believe they should be, and then put everything else on top of that, and then see where we're at. Wouldn't that be like a resolution to the issues? We're talking about reoccurring expenses and not reoccurring expenses, making sure that the teachers get paid, and we can't do that, so you keep throwing out this $1,000 figure, let's resolve the problem and be an example for the state. Not everybody's doing it. I could not care any less what Orange County is doing. They're not the model of great education. They have the same problems we do. So why are we going to use the worst solution that they come up with, which is, hey, give us more money. Trust us with more money so that we can screw that up. No, that's not the answer. It's ridiculous. Rewrite the budget.
Yep.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go ahead and move on to attorney legal issues. Mr. Krockenbacher.
First item we talked about in the work session is approval for us to have the discretion to send a notice of termination agreement in the event we do not reach an agreement timely with the South Florida Water Management District.
That's an action item.
Motion approved.
Second. I have a motion by Board Member Melendez, second by Vice Chair Booth. Board, all those in favor? Aye.
The second item, Madam Chair, you contacted me and asked after the last workshop that I would draft the transition agreement. I put in front of you the two documents that I asked if we ever have one before. I was given one for somebody named Melba Luciano, who I don't know. And then I pulled up the one that I was very familiar with, the Orange County one. And what you have in front of you is a transition agreement that calls for the termination of any contractual relationship with Dr. Pace on July 14th. As it now stands, Dr. Pace has not formally tendered a notice of retirement to this district or the state. So you currently have a contract with Dr. Pace that runs through 2025. This document is intended to guarantee that that comes to a close. There can't be any arguments. And you asked that I put July 14th so that there were a couple of weeks where Dr. Pace would not be here but should be available to the new superintendent for any information he needs, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. Thank you. I see two board members have some questions. We'll start with Board Member Arguello and then Board Member Melendez.
Okay, so I have a couple of issues with this. One is just some simple language which is confusing, which in paragraph 3, we talk about the pay. So I just want a clarification. Number one, there may not have been a formal process of delivering the retirement, but this is highly, in my opinion, this is highly unprofessional. We have already had people tender their resignation or tender their retirement and then bring it back. I mean, this is terrible. Once you submit, if you're gonna send a public email to the school board and you're saying, I'm retiring on so-and-so day, you're done, that's it. I mean, we should be accepting that retirement and that's it. Then to retract it and then extend it a couple weeks and so on, it's unprofessional. It's
With all due
unprofessional.
respect, may I ask, because this has nothing to do with Dr. Pace, I think that we had a conversation about extending her contract so that we can transition the new
Yes, I'm gonna address that. I mean, I'm talking about that.
So Dr. Pace was not the one who added the extra 2 weeks.
It doesn't matter.
as a board.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter. I think it's unprofessional on us. If
Okay.
it was only us, then it's unprofessional for us to say, hey, we're gonna do this. When we discuss there being a transition period or so on and so forth, then it should occur prior to the retirement date, not after and extended. Because now what we have is a potential problem. Number one, hiring a new superintendent, that new superintendent may not want a superintendent emerita coming in and then providing that services and having for a moment 2 superintendents. That's a concern of itself. If we hire a superintendent, hopefully the best superintendent we can find, they're gonna know what they wanna do. I don't think that that's necessary. We can transition period, okay, fine. But we also, in terms of the language also, we have other language where it says reasonable costs, but there's no description of what those costs may be or those expenses may be. I think that should be spelled out. This isn't very thorough. I'm not a fan of honorary titles and so on. I do get it that you showed me the one in Orange County and they use that language. Not a fan of it. Our job is to hire a superintendent. I would recommend that we do it as quickly as possible, go through the process. If we don't, we don't. I mean, but we also have like the most bloated leadership in the district, central district office. We don't have someone that can serve as interim or something or other. There's not a lot of purpose for this. I think there's not a lot of purpose to this. I'm not a big fan of the language of the contract. Who it's not honoring is the teachers. I think that to extend this is I mean, it's just not an honorary to give somebody else tens of thousands of dollars to be at home in some transitionary period. That's not an honor to the teachers who are here making the statements that they just made.
Thank you, Mr. Board Member Arguello. Board Member Melendez, got some comments as well?
Yes, Madam Chair. When was the original resignation supposed to be effective, Dr. Bates?
I had said June 30,
June 30.
but there were members of the board who suggested that a transition plan would be helpful.
I was one of them. No, I just want to get this something quick. I'm sorry. I apologize, Dr. Bates, because
That's
I'm actually
okay.
in agreement, because I'm the one that asked for this stay a little bit longer, okay? So I just wanted to get the timeline. So, because right now, we have July 1st as an anticipated start date. So that's really cutting it close. So we're only talking about, now, the way this contract is written, it says July 14th, right? So we're only talking like a 2-week extension. So we're not even talking about something grossly out of place. So for us to have that 2-week, and I don't want to rush the process, hiring a brand new superintendent is the most important decision that we're going to make. And so far, there's been some little bumps in the road, but with Dr. Vogel and everybody leading us, we've been kind of pretty good open process. And, I don't want to rush it to make sure that there's a superintendent, in place still. So, I'm in favor of it. Now, the only thing I didn't see, just for technicalities, is it extending her same salary or is it a different rate? I didn't see a price tag attached to it.
It continues the same rate that she's under. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's 2 weeks, and I don't know what that comes to. But that's it. Everything stays the same, and Dr. Pace has told me it's not approved, she's going on the 31st. That's her plan, but the reality is, as the lawyer,
Yeah.
I want a document that cancels the
Yes, correct.
2025 document and closes it out.
Right, in other words, there's no golden parachute. She
Right.
gets paid those 2 weeks and that's it. You know, it's not like, she's getting paid, an additional 6 months or anything like
Right.
that. 'Cause I think the state statute allows it if we fire them, that they can still get paid for 6 months, but in this case.
20 weeks.
Well, 20 weeks. So, that's not the case here. So July 14th, last day. And then there was one concern that Mr. Boyle did bring up, just out of curiosity, because we did create a title, because I think you're not allowed to have 2 superintendents at the same time. So concurrently.
She, on July 1, she goes to Superintendent Emirata. And then the other superintendent who you hire is the superintendent per Florida statute.
And that's clear chain of command.
Yes.
So to him,
She
it's
is
not like
just
Dr.
an-
Pace can say one thing in buying the district, and then the
She's just an
superintendent.
advisor at that point available for the superintendent. She has no authority to do anything after the first.
Okay, so the superintendent in effect there would be the one signing documents?
Exactly.
Then I'm fine with that.
And I can add that component, just clarify it.
Second.
Keep in mind, there was a comment, motion by Vice Chair Booth, second by Board Member Melendez, and a comment by Superintendent Pace.
I just felt like it might help to add some clarity for Mr. Melendez's sake. When I was first appointed on February the 29th, 2016, I was appointed, I think, interim superintendent or superintendent designee. Melba retained the authority as superintendent until after spring break. On March 16th of 2016, I became the superintendent, and she remained in the superintendent emeritus status through the end of June 30. So we had that 3-month period of time where I was making the superintendent decisions, but she was immensely helpful through that process of just giving context and background on some of the situations. I will honor the will of this board. June 30, July 14th, you tell me. I don't think you've ever had any reason to question my work ethic. You can question a lot of other things, and I am fully committed to helping a new superintendent transition smoothly while giving them clear lines of authority simply to be a resource as needed, based on the will of the board.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second, Board. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign? Thank you, motion passes 4-1. Thank you, Board. And we do have one new business, which is the annual recognition for SROs. Board Member Melendez.
Yay, I'm excited about this. Like for instance, we got Officer Burrows today from St. Cloud, and he got multiple issues that he got, recommended for. Like I said, he saved the gator from the kids at school. And one thing I wanted to do was, we had our SRO task force, and we spoke about the SRO kind of being in limbo, like working for our agency, working for their agency, and sometimes they get left out. I mean, we do acknowledge them a lot, but I just thought about it, it'd be really a nice gesture to let them know that they're valued. And when we have our education awards ceremonies at the end of the year, we have one for teachers, and we also have one for support staff. I believe that we should also do the same thing for the SRO of the year. And obviously, there's only one SRO for that year, so the school's gonna nominate their person automatically. So it's not like they're gonna, have a strong competition. But what we can do is have like the committees that evaluate the nominees, give a short list of the top 3. Because obviously there's only one per school. Because I think we do like the top 10 finalists now, because there's so many teachers at each school. So I'd say that they submit their SRO, or they write a paragraph, the principal at that school or whoever else, however the nominating process is, and then the committee can review it and give away the top 3 to get invited to the award ceremony. And then from the top 3, we obviously honor the last one as the SRO of the year. I just think that it's, I started talking to people recently about their SRO relationship, and they could tell me the name of their SRO. And I'm talking like people my age. I don't want to hide my age, but I'm not that young. You know what I mean? But, so to me, that's an impact. When they could remember the name of their SRO when they were back in high school 10, 20, 15 years ago. So I just really think that it's a small token on our part, really. But, I know I don't even want to sell it to more. Hopefully you guys can support it, and it's a self-explanatory issue. It's just the fact that is, very simple. Each school can nominate their good person. They don't have to nominate them if they don't like them, you know what I mean? It's not mandatory, you know what I mean? But at least the committee can review the top 3, invite them to our dinner, and we can give them an award for the top SRO of the year.
Thank you for bringing that up. Board Member Melendez, Board Member Arguello, comment?
Does that mean that we include the guardians too, where guardians are at school, if guardians are at school at that time?
Well, it's a school resource officer, so they can, well, right now, technically, we don't have any
Will be the-
guardians at the public school, but if they do have guardians, then that'll be another discussion to have later. But right now, to the protector of the campus, yes.
Okay, I think it's a healthy discussion. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to it. I don't know what the rest of the board.
I just have for clarity, and not only because I believe, isn't the Teacher of the Year and Support Staff of the Year a program done through the Florida Department of Education? So that is like, so every county, can you explain just for a minute about just that particular program, why every county does that? Because it's not something like we had made up, it's just something also that, and I like to hear everything, all kinds, I want to honor as many people as we can, but I know that particular program is through the Department of Education, correct?
It is through the Florida Department of Education. They provide the guidelines, the criteria, the process for which the school-based selection process is done. We have some flexibility about the district-wide process. That's why we've always used a committee to review the applications. But even in the application itself is produced by the Florida Department of Education. So all of that is clearly established and it's consistent across the state.
Yeah, because a part of it, they go on to the next level. They like to challenge themselves at the state level, so they want to make sure those nominees there. But there's nothing precluding the district from adding to it.
Yeah, is there anything that says that in the ceremony we can add other categories?
No, it's our ceremony.
Okay.
It just
I
depends
mean,
on,
it's a
I know that we've always been sensitive to length.
Program in general.
No, I don't think, sure.
So we've just always been sensitive to length of the program to make sure it's fun and nice, but not forever.
Sully.
And that's what we said, only 3, like I said, the top 3 get, you know, so it doesn't take up forever in just one category.
I feel like we have consensus that most folks are interested in at least exploring further, so, yeah, I think we can, community relations, take over from here. Okay, team. Thank you. It seems like we are at the end of our meeting. Thank you for a great meeting and being respectful of each other, and meeting adjourned.
This is an FYI,